Perfect. We got it. Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order here at 6:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for everyone for attending the APA board meeting here scheduled here today, June 16th, 6 p.m. I hope everyone's doing well. Nice sunny summer day.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order here. So first thing on the agenda is a pledge of allegiance and our moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. First thing on the agenda, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented this evening?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Don't know if we have anyone signed up for public comments today.
No.
Doesn't look like it. We're good. Thank you. Next thing on the agenda is our approval of our meeting minutes that's in our packet here from the May 18th meeting. Take a few minutes to look over that. If I can call for a motion next. All right, can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented from the May 18th, 2026 meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the meetings from the May 18th, 2026 meeting.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that. Next thing on our agenda is our CEO report. All right. And that should be,
Let's see, it's
In our
towards the back of
packet.
my packet.
there it is.
And
Yeah.
you had it on Boardable because I read it this afternoon.
Yeah, we'll take a few minutes to look over that and then we'll call for a motion.
I did put it in my folder. Yeah, for all the financials.
Thank you.
I got your board packets this
Thanks.
week. So,
It's all good.
good luck, guys. Sit on the fridge.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the CEO report from June 9th here as presented?
Make a motion to approve the June 9th CEO report.
All right.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Got the roof done.
Oh, no, in process.
Oh, it's in process. Oh, it is. Completion date 6/26.
So that's the goal. The weather's not cooperating. Tomorrow it seems to be a little windy or challenging, so hopeful soon.
Thank you.
We finally got a speech therapist. Nice.
Yes, yes, and we actually worked with her last year, where she was in the virtual space,
Oh,
but she's local, like Muncie area. And the amount of progress we experienced with her and our kiddos is incredible.
That's good.
Yeah, so
Speech therapist.
excited
The
about
new
that.
speech therapist. She was part of the virtual group, so she came on board with us, but she was local.
And we're gonna do some kind of a hybrid approach with her and it's gonna be really great.
Good.
So,
I'm glad to hear that.
That was a position Dave Cagley had quite a few years ago, I know I taught
yes.
with Dave over at Frankton.
Yeah, and Dave, so he was our last on staff one. We've had to outsource it since,
Mhm.
because they are so hard to find. And we've been getting services through Kids Count, but they couldn't staff us. And we hadn't actually been maybe satisfied with the services we had been getting. And so we tried a new company last year for that, and so it's one of those things where everything, all the stars aligned and
That's good.
we'll take it.
Now, you mentioned the property casualty coverage is up for renewal.
Yes.
And I remember you telling me that you thought there could be some savings there for us this year.
Yeah, savings at least from how the budget
Or
is
how we
currently
had it
written.
presented, yeah.
Yeah. But I still don't have those numbers back. And so I think this is gonna be one of those down to the wire. A lot of carriers right now are a little tied up. And the weather has not been helpful with that either. So I know with Liberty Mutual is one of the ones that we are considering going back to.
Okay, yeah, we've had them for quite a few years.
Yeah, and our broker had talked about they might want to come on site and do like a building inspection. But I think all their adjusters and inspectors are tied up with Midwest storms, so
Mhm.
we shall see.
Now, one thing that's always factored into that was the 25th Street building. What are our plans for that building next year?
Renovate.
Renovate. Will we have any pre-K or any presence over there at all?
No, not yet.
Okay,
So the goal was to, we've done some of the updates and whatnot, a lot of clean out and everything. But with our variance during this fiscal year, we had to use that money for other things.
yeah.
So still trying to make it all work because there is need for us to have more classrooms,
Mhm.
but that,
Well, the fact that we are sinking money to improve it surely counts for something.
oh yeah, then they'll be fine with it. And then, if they do come back, right, like our basement here has been renovated a lot. It's kind of startling.
Upgraded
difference.
the sump pump, huh?
Yeah, hey, the classrooms down there are really nice right now. The first classroom, which is down on this end, as we were getting the epoxy paint in there and all the really cool stuff, so they're going, I would have killed for this classroom as a teacher. This huge thing, nice, the sun's coming in the right way and cool view when you look out the windows, and like, I can't let the secondary teachers down here because they might try to arm wrestle. Move out the littles. They're
I've never been down there, actually.
really nice.
I had class down there. I had English down there.
Oh, when you were a student here. I see.
And when Evelyn was a student here, they used to have sock hops and whatnot down there before school. And apparently they had like a soda bar down there and all that.
I didn't have that.
I didn't have anything like that.
No, you were saying you had some flooding here. Was it last week, 2 weekends ago?
That was at 25th Street.
Oh, the one that you and Richard had to do the mopping on a Sunday.
Oh, that was here.
That was
yes.
here, yeah, down by the weight room, or?
Yeah, that was the locker rooms and the weight room hallway.
Oh, that's kind of a surprising place to have flooding.
Well, It is and it isn't. So it's because of all the backup in the city.
Mhm.
So if you've ever had the opportunity to be by Payless when we get heavy rain here,
Mhm.
that whole curve floods.
Oh,
Like,
okay, yeah.
dangerously so, as well as the aqueduct tunnels. But the rain that happened 2 Sundays ago, 29th Street was flooded. Richie and I were we live over kind of towards Chesterfield, and the city was flooded in ways I've never seen it. And what happens is clean water comes up through locker room sink and then pours out into the locker room and then goes to wherever it can get. Thankfully, it's clean water.
Yeah.
But we've addressed it in the past. That's why we've done a lot of like the sewer liner piper changed the parking lot, got rid of those trees, right?
Mhm.
All the things, but until the city can figure out that issue right there or puts the money towards it, we are gonna still deal with
Still
that
have it.
sometimes. But we did save the wax that had just been put on the floor.
That's good.
But yeah, it was almost 200 gallons of water.
Wow.
So. but
Well, if there's
good
any
team.
superintendents of any schools watching us, perchance, tell them, hey, this is how our
is how
CEO
we
spends her
roll."
Sundays, operating the, I don't know what you call the thing, a big floor sweeper that removes the water.
Well, we call them very interesting names. So we have the gray machine, the blue machine, and the green machine.
Ah,
That's what color they are. So.
okay. Yeah.
All right, any other further discussion if not? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on that. Thank you, Joe, for your report. I appreciate it. All right, next thing on the agenda is our financial report. So
Okay.
it'll be the looking over the board treasurer report and our monthly financials for April.
So
the floor to you, Mr. Ashby.
Has a copy of my notes here.
Yep.
So on the legal size, make it a little bit more readable, and I have each row numbered. Now, I did not change this since our last aborted meeting, so this is dated June the 9th. And over on the very far right, I did put in the 26-27 budget. Constant ADM is 700, and this was the 6.5 version. I think this is the one we had prior to our Monday meeting. And at that time, there was still about a 13,000 deficit, so that's a little bit out of date, but it's close enough that I just have that thrown into so you can make whatever comparisons might be of interest to you. The format is pretty much the same. The way I approach this when we get our numbers from Bookkeeping Plus is what's changed since our last board meeting. And then lines 1 is our headings. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, clear down to 10. Actually, I've got 3 comparisons here. I did include our forecast at the end of for February the 28th, so that would have been 2 board meetings ago. And then I had our last one, which was actual numbers through March 31st, and then of course our current. So you can kind of compare if you want to see what has happened to total income and total expense going back 2 or 3 months, you can see that we have been reducing expenses for sure in the amount of $288,000 some dollars. Some of that reduction, as we've stated in past meetings, of course, comes from paying off our LOC. So you have to always, when you have a number, you need to see what its composition is, because it may or may not be telling you what you think it is. But we have reduced costs, and unfortunately, let's see, total income is down a little bit going back a couple months. And basic support and total, well, let's see, total basic grant support has pretty much made this, has been constant and is a known variable since we got the February 2nd ADM count. So you can compare our cash net income. We were looking at about 791,000 cash loss a couple months ago. We did manage at our last board meeting to pare that down to around 450, and it has gone back up then. We're calling it end of the year is probably going to be in the neighborhood of a $605,000 loss. And then you can see at that time our ending cash balance was pretty slim. Excuse me, at about 36,000. Now, 8, 9, and 10 are adjustments. They haven't actually happened yet, but we can now include CSP grant, which is the grant that we have to cover our pre-K expenses until we can get the reimbursement from that grant. And those reimbursements have been delayed on occasion. So it looks like we may have 134,000 that were earned this year coming in, hopefully in July, probably July or August. And then, of course, the one wild card is we still have to pay off the line of credit. The remaining amount is $275,878. And Jill, you're still in favor of paying that off prior to 6/30.
No,
Okay, so
no, we were gonna pay down that balance some, but not pay it all off.
okay.
I met with the bank on Thursday.
Okay. So again, that is a possibility which could adjust our bottom lines there depending on, I guess, what happens. So I did notice that, so you can also make a comparison here. 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth column over, I do have our amended cash budget. So you can see, for example, even though we have dropped expenses some, we're still over what the amended budget was. And of course, the amended budget was late in the year because of the much lower than expected ADM counts. Then, let's see, we go down to lines 11 through 14, and this is just some of our favorite or perhaps not so favorite metrics that we try to keep an eye on. Not surprisingly, perhaps, but sub-expense did exceed our original budgeted amount of 65,000, and we are holding that figure pretty much roughly next year. But pretty much it's been like 130,000 plus the last 3 years. So again, a lot of things go into that. Also, we always track our health insurance premiums. Now, I made a note there somewhere, I think in my pre-meeting review, I said, normally, if you said we were only going to have a budget increase of 1% from our current projected 442,000, I think we were being overly optimistic. However, remember, our new health insurance year is from January to December. So we get a benefit of that for at least half the year. So, and then of course, the one area that is concerning, which we have been monitoring for quite a while, is our debt service coverage ratio with the bank. Now, that calculation is done using our accrual numbers, and it is a negative 0.67 times. The bank requires 1.25 times, so suffice it to say that because everything comes back to the drops that we have had, really unexpectedly drops in first and second ADM count, and everything sort of stems from that. Obviously, it's going to be lower than we thought it would be. So, and then down 15 through 19, we take a look at the month of April. Gee, it's almost 4th of July. April seems like a distant memory now. And I did carry the month of March results just to see where we had been. As you can see, the budget for April in terms of cash net income or loss was only a negative 24,000. However, that did increase to $140,000 cash loss. And if you check on an accrual basis, that actually was carried as a $216,000 loss. And that would leave our ending cash. I don't think we've quoted that figure yet, but ending cash at the end of April was $387,210. But if you look over at the very far right, under May and June, both of those months are projecting a cash loss. Now, the June cash loss will be about 281,000. I'm thinking about 80 or 90,000 of that is that large end of year payment for our vocational services. And sometimes in the past we have forgot. Oh, there's Beth. I didn't see. Yeah, she's on the computer screen now. I think in years past, sometimes that snuck up on us and everybody wondered, well, how come we're running a big loss at the end of June? And that could be, I think that may be part of it right there.
You never know when they're gonna send it, and I know Jill hasn't received it yet, so we just don't know. I mean, we budget for it. I mean, we just don't know really what it's gonna be and when.
Let's see, what else of that? You can peruse the numbers here at your leisure. Now, I did a note of explanation here on number 19. You'll see that why did we increase the monthly loss? Well, there was a slight loss in income, but we had $107,000 increase in over budgeted expenses. Well, a big portion of that, and the month before actually, seemed to be in GA expense, general and administrative. And there was an amount, something about 69,000 in instructional compensation expense, and the same thing, it was G&A comp expense. And in looking at what caused that, it appeared to me, and you can confirm that or get me straightened out here, but it looked like there might be one of those red herring budget variances, which look like, oh my gosh, we really missed the budget, we're spending too much, but what's really going on? Well, if you will notice on line 116 on our big cash flow statement, that is where we're trying to track our our pre-K funding. Now, both of those numbers were negative this time. Now, if I'm correct, if that number is positive, basically what that means is that our G&A compensation expense for that month has actually been overstated because we have pre-K G&A expense in the totals for K through 12 that haven't been reimbursed yet for whatever reason. And then if the figure is negative, well, now that would be good in that it's saying that we're recognizing that out of that total G&A expense, some of that is coming out for pre-K. So it's being segregated. And you can figure that out if you look at the formula totals on the Bookkeeping Plus spreadsheet. So what that told me was that about 90,000 some of that variance was coming from the fact that apparently we anticipated a lot more reimbursements coming in. In the budget, we thought we'd have 100, let's see, where's the number there? 100 100. We thought we might have about 171,000 coming in, and we only had about 65,000, which caused 106,000 variance. So I'm thinking that a lot, it's like the food service reimbursements that we play with that raise havoc with the budget analysis on our income. I think some of our variances, it's not indicating a problem, only a delay in CSP reimbursements perhaps. Beth, am I right in track on interpreting that?
Yes, you are. That's exactly what happened. The problem is that Jill had some instructional systems in the admin that was a little higher because they're helping with the program, so we were asking for some additional monies for that, which is good. It's just we have to then wait for it to come
Yep.
in. And with this budget, and that's why I put it at the very bottom, we anticipate about another 133 coming in next
Mhm.
year. That's related to this year's expenses, which is gonna cause that to be more negative in the end of the
Mhm.
end of this year, and that's one of the reasons why, is because of the delay
Yep.
in them getting that, but we're trying to maximize and use that, obviously those funds as best we can that relate to the preschool, which Jill's doing a great job on.
Mhm. I know, that's why I get involved in some of these details, which, again, we don't want to make this, since I'm just pretending to be an accountant actually, and a lawyer sometimes too at my service club, but I'm neither. But we want to make sure, because we quote figures, and we want to make sure that in quoting a figure, whether good or bad, sometimes there is a story behind that number that can change one's impression. So, and we just want to know how we really are doing without misconstruing whether some number is showing that we're spending way too much or we're doing a lot better than it would appear that we really are. So, unless there's any other questions or comments, that's pretty much where things stand as of the end of April.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the line of credit, that was to pay off the loan on 25th Street, is that correct?
No.
No, what was that line of credit?
So our line of credit, and we flex with it, but basically it's to cover our CSP grant expenses until they can reimburse us.
And so since we still haven't got that reimbursement, we're not going to pay it off then
Right.
by June 30th.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Until-
wait
yeah.
to pay that line of credit off.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I will pay some of it off because we should have a fairly sizable reimbursement coming at the end of this month. But timing of that, we'll see where that goes. I did meet with the bank on Thursday to talk about the computer loan, as well as line of credit renewal that's coming up in September. And so he had said, even, you know, with the line of credit, if they're not able to get the computer loan, if we can't get it closed before we actually need to pay it, oh, just use the line of credit for that, and then, you know, use the proceeds to pay it back. So the bank doesn't care if we are how we're using it or the timeliness of that. That was one question that Beth and I had, and this is what's included in the budget, is we're up for the renewal in September. Do you have to have it paid off before you can renew? And the answer is actually no.
Oh, good.
So that was positive
Yes.
for us.
So he could throw the computers over under the line of credit, so it would just be adjusted on a different line than when we're looking at the budget and everything essentially.
Yeah, that would be that. And our banker is getting married in 3 weeks, so
That's why he's in such a good mood, no doubt.
Yes. He actually, his brother just got married this weekend too, because he was leaving my meeting to go to a rehearsal dinner, so.
But
Alright.
that amount, was it 82 or 62,000? I think it was
It's
up to 82.
282
Okay.
and 25
yeah.
cents, not to be too precise.
Well, it's, you didn't think we would have to be drawing much for the pre-K from the LOC next fiscal year, but it's certainly comforting to have that on hand,
Yeah.
as we'll be talking about here when we take a look at our break-even budget, I think.
Yeah, and it helps us, and, you know,
If they'll give you the money, you don't have to spend it or use it, but you better take it, because sometimes that the attitude changes for whatever reason. It can be hard to get, so.
yeah, and one of the things that we definitely have in our favor, and there are other ways that we can fund what we do, but
Mhm.
typically we just go through our bank. They're very happy that we're paying off a lot of mortgages and loans in the next 3 months. And so, you know, taking on another 82,000 is a drop in the bucket compared to how much money we keep with them, as well as the collateral that we have. So
And that's what I was gonna ask, can I get those dates on the payoffs on the buildings?
give me just a second.
Sorry,
Oh,
I will
okay.
have to go through some
I don't have
factor.
Okay,
Jill, I have that, I can send that to you, Jill.
Oh, hey, thank you. 'cause
yeah, I can,
I don't wanna get my
uh,
blood on
Got it.
camera.
there's 5, one pays off right at the end of June. Maybe two
It's
do.
June, July, and
Yeah, I
August.
think that's the bleachers loan and, one of the computer loan, I think was the other one. The mortgages, they are all paid, all except the 25th Street. The oldest one does not expire until sometime in 2029, March, I'm thinking. But that's July and August. So, that was why I think our original rough estimate of savings that we were not going to incur from paying debt was 305. However, 3 of those mortgage loans do have either 1 or 2 payments this fiscal year, which kind of knocked that down a little bit. I don't know, 279, 260, somewhere around there. So that sort of hones it in. Everything, those will all be paid off at the end of August.
3 of the 5?
All 5.
Oh, all 5.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
Except for the March of
there was
29.
one, I think the 2 that were non-mortgages, I think paid off,
They should
will
be
pay
June
off in
30th.
June.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you mean June of this year?
Yeah, June of this
Yeah,
year.
that's correct.
Yes, uh-huh, yep.
They do, they mature June of this year.
Mhm.
Thank you for that, Dave. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the board treasurer report and the monthly financials for April 2026, excuse me, as this evening is presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the board treasurer report and the monthly financials for April, as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right. Any other further discussion about it? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dave, for that presenting, and truly appreciate it as always. Thank you, Beth, as well too, and thank you for answering all those questions.
That's fine, I'm staying on for the budget.
Yeah,
Okay,
don't go
all right.
anywhere.
She's
like,
We don't
I'm
wanna
still gonna
touch
hang
the
out.
budget
Yes.
presentation, so.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right. All right. Next thing is new business here is our APA spotlight for APA Elementary. Captain Stottlemyre, have they come up? How we doing?
Sit here.
Yeah.
Oh, here, just sit here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Every time the numbers gonna decrease and go away.
All right. Hello.
Welcome. Let's get each other much.
I will not touch any of your technology.
I'll try. Watching a movie. Are you okay if I sit for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go right ahead, yeah.
Okay if I sit for
Probably all
this. Well, you'll
Well,
see
maybe
here in a
not the
second.
schools out, I guess.
He's still running around. We've got
Oh, you got summer school, yeah.
Summer
Yes.
school and iRead testing.
Yep, today was day 1.
Mm.
Sorry. Spotlight. There.
Is that the kind of junk you watch up there, or is that
No.
something?
Not really.
I'm always curious what it's
No,
gonna
it's,
suggest
I
for
think those are
us.
best-selling movies.
does this work?
Yeah, gotta go to the setting guy.
Every TV is different.
It tells us the person that buys them is the same one. Alas.
But there.
There we go.
Okay.
Don't look at it, Jill.
Well, thanks for having me tonight. So I'm here to talk about the elementary. I have not been here since October.
So,
Oh no.
Seems more recent than that, doesn't it?
he attends, he just hasn't been.
See, you looked at it, didn't you?
I
did.
did. I literally did look up there.
Uh-huh.
I won't. I
You're
haven't.
an IT hazard.
I am. I am very much. I keep the IT department in business.
Isn't it HDMI 1, Jill? I didn't see that as an option.
Did it? Maybe it unplugged.
Maybe it just shut off.
Does it want me to stand?
Do we still get the kids in the classroom to fix our AT or audio stuff for us like they used to, you know? I know they might have trouble fixing some of this
We have an
stuff.
AV class. I know there's students that work on the
It's an
computers
HDMI
for
3.
learning the computers.
Uh-huh.
So Jill doesn't even touch it because I mess up all the time.
Oh, I have to lament how, when I was teaching how primitive our audio, well, you can swear to that, yeah, how primitive, we didn't have much to work with back then.
The TV's on the cards.
We didn't have that much.
Hey,
Don't move, don't breathe, don't do anything.
She's going around the long way.
Okay, so it's been since October since I've been here, so we've had a lot of things happen over the last year. This past year was my second year as principal, so really from year one, that was just our year of all systems check, studying our systems, getting an idea of where we are as a school, what our needs are, and then this past year that we just finished was really the first year of doing some intentional changes throughout. So this presentation is going to look at like where we started, what changed, and what the data is beginning to show, and how those lessons are shaping our plans going in to next year. It is lengthy. I can talk about APA and the elementary and all the great work we're doing for days and weeks. So I'll try to keep
That's
this.
a good thing.
I'll try to keep
We
this
like that.
presentation
Well, the
going.
longer you talk, we don't have to go and dive into
Yes,
the
there you
budget.
go.
Your
So
position's safe. We
there-
said, well, we
thank
can't get
you.
rid of an elementary principal.
There you
Can't,
go.
we gotta have one of those. So.
Thank you. So this presentation is organized into 4 parts. So our part 1 is our celebrations, kind of like the momentum that we can see. Part 2 is our culture of calm, which is all of our systems that change kind of the qualitative study. Part 3 is the data review, so numbers, that's the quantitative side of things. And then part 4 is the intentionality. How do we take all of that from part 1, 2, and 3 and move into next year? So we're going to start with part 1, the celebrations that we can see. Basically, we want to look at our evidence of momentum. So our cadet growth, our family connection, our community investment at the elementary level, as well as our expanded opportunities. These celebrations are not just events on a calendar. It's evidence of our school becoming more connected, more active, and more intentional. So one of the first things we'll look at that we can celebrate this year are our family conferences. This was the 3rd year that the district has done family conferences. If we look at our fall 2024 year, we had 77% of all elementary families sign up for a family conference. This past year, that number increased to 83% of our families signed up for a conference. And I think the more impactful, powerful statistic is that last one. Across both years, we had a 92% average attendance. So not only were they signing up, for family conferences, they were all showing up at their respective times and communicating with us.
Even better.
Yes, so we are really grateful for that. That increases our families in our building. They are connecting with teachers. They're getting an academic snapshot, behavior snapshot. We have community resources during our family conferences. They can talk with different community partners. They can talk with our SPED department about their dyslexia screeners. They can get information about iRead. They can purchase spiritware. So we're trying to make it like a one-stop shop, worth parents' time. The family conferences are generally in the evening time, which is more family friendly for the adults that we serve because they work different jobs and different things like that. So when we are able to meet them where they are at the time, they do show up. Moving into school communities becoming a part of our culture. So these next several slides highlight different events and different opportunities that our families and cadets had to experience. So that bottom picture there with Mr. White, one of our 4th and 5th grade math teachers, that was our math night that we had. So we host an annual literacy and math night. Those are fun events where families are involved in the learning. So they go around to different stations and do different literacy and math activities. That video that just played over there was one of our spring music and art shows, and I'll go more in depth with that later. We also have families in the building helping us with our book fair, with our holiday shop. So families are wanting to be involved, and they're helping us get these initiatives and events off the ground. Couple more. So we have our trunk or treat and someone special dance. So the trunk or treat pictures on the right there, that is an annual event that we do that brings not only our family members into our school, but also various community members as well, because it's open to the whole community. The someone special dance there, this was brought based off family feedback. So our families asked us all the time to do like a daddy-daughter dance, a mother-son event. We know that with our cadets, not all of them have like a traditional father or motherly figure there. So we tried to be very intentional about that. So we created the someone special dance where all kids in K through 5 could bring a special adult from their life, whoever that is. It could be a friend, it could be a family member. But we had over 100 cadets come on a Friday night to the very first ever someone special dance. So we're really looking forward to that event growing next year. That was just one of the many pictures that we had with the cadets. We were able to print one picture off for every family, so we got to send it home after the dance so the parents can remember that. Awards and graduations. So once again, end of year, May is a crazy month for all schools across the country. Just all kinds of end of year celebrations. So we had our 5th grade graduation. So again, 5th grade is the last year before they move over here. And then we have our kindergarten graduation as well. One of the big things that I like about the kindergarten graduation is that that's where the full circle moment comes into play. So like our kindergarten cadets are starting a chapter, but we also bring over the high school seniors and their chapter is closing. So it's a great representation of our like later in meet habit. Yeah, that's one of our seniors.
I thought that one lady looked a little.
Yes.
A little
Yeah.
old
So
for
you
kindergarten.
see the tall people in the back. Yeah. You see the tall people back there. Those are our high school seniors, and the little people are kindergarten graduates. So this is really just a great representation of begin with the end in mind. That's a great reminder as an elementary school. That is what we're working towards, is to see those kids graduate and become awesome humans out in the real world. Field day, again, annual field day. Got to give a shout out to Coach Scott for all of his work organizing this. We have 20 different stations. We do an all school lunch. Family volunteers come in and help run the games. So again, it's a great way that school community is becoming a part of our culture. This is our yearbook cover. So this is, again, we're listening to our families. We've had multitude of requests to bring the yearbook back. So we met with Miss Highsmith. She's our makerspace teacher, and met with the commandant to kind of reflect on why the yearbook was here and how it kind of fizzled away for a little bit and how we could bring it back. So this was our first year to do the yearbook. We chose to do a July delivery because we wanted to include all of those April and May events. If we wanted to do an end of the school year event, it really has to stop any events like after spring break would not be included in it. And that's where all the memories are made, really, from that April and May with all those events. So those books will arrive in July. Again, we met our sales goal, which was 90 books. So we sold at least that. And we look forward to that coming back again next year.
Now, will they be sent out to the students or will they be delivered here to the school?
They'll be delivered here to the school. So we have a couple events in mind. Meet the Teacher Night will be a night where we can pass out books. We're also looking to pass them out during registration as well. Cadets are learning beyond the classroom, so we had a lot of field trips this year. This is just a few of them. Anderson Public Library, we had a great connection there. That was also part of fire safety. That was a connection between the library and the City of Anderson Fire Department. J.A. Biztown, the Children's Museum in Muncie and Indianapolis, the State Museum, Russell Farms. Again, just some more pictures that were here. We're just really thankful that we are able to take learning beyond the classroom. Our goal is for every grade level to go on 2 field trips, and I do believe we met that goal this past year. And again, those are just some of the places that our cadets are able to go to over the course of the school year. We had our Share the Fair coin wars. This was book fair during the middle of the year. So our cadets were able to raise $1,500 through coin wars, just bringing in dimes, pennies, nickels, all that fun stuff there. All of that money went back to the school, to the cadets, to the teachers. So it funded what we call our Scholastic Dollar accounts. And with that account, we were able to provide book fair gift cards to the classes that brought in the most coins. We were able to make sure that every single elementary cadet walked away with at least one hardback book funded through the Share the Fair account. We were also able to provide every single teacher $100 for they can shop and fund their classroom libraries. The book fair has more than just books. They have all those different science things, different hands-on things. So different teachers were able to take advantage of that and do that.
Is our most profitable book
Yes.
to date. I've
Mhm.
done a lot of them, so, but our Scholastic Dollars, we earned all of those different things count as sales too, so when we do the Share the Fair money and those things, so we have like $4,000 of profit, from there that we can then purchase from Scholastic, like manipulatives and more books for the classroom teachers and all that, so it's really exciting.
Continue on with the books. This was kind of the motivation behind Share the Fair. So, oh yes, who is that? I don't know. So our first place Share the Fair coin, the class that brought in the most money, which was Captain Van Alstyne's class. They got to tape me to a wall during a weekly assembly. And then the second place, which I think was the more interesting prize of choice, Ms. Reyes' second grade class got to pick out my outfit for the day. So a combination of chicken legs, unicorn swim trunks, a wig. They're supposed
That
to...
class was shooting for second.
Yes.
Because they were very excited about it.
So, and that was also on a Friday, so I had to walk up on stage and do a whole assembly in that outfit.
And we had visitors come to take.
Yes, we had official community visitors come and they wanted me to. Yes.
And we had to be in that on Facebook.
Those pictures are not in this, but I can share them if you're interested.
How long did it take you to get you off the wall?
Not bad. So once they started going, gravity did the rest. It was more interesting, like how to get out of, because I wore like a painter's suit.
Yeah, I put a hazmat suit on him to avoid.
I had to be cut out. Yes.
Because next
Mine
time you
has-
go backwards with the zipper in the
Well,
back.
just
Yeah.
say that my husband is very concerned about the hazmat, the duct tape, and the goggle, like the things.
I
that
couldn't
we
ruin
wear
my
in
blue
the house.
jacket, so we had to put
We had
something over
rules.
that.
It was like, why are you getting all this?
Access to experiences. So again, our walkathon way back in September. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that because I talked about that in October. But our walkathon raised over $5,600 this year. So what does that money go towards? It funded all of our field trips. We didn't pay,
Amazing.
families didn't pay for any busing. They didn't pay any entry fees. We were able to use that money to go right back to the cadets to remove those barriers and just improve the overall family experience there. The money also went to support our cadet cash store. So every so often we'll have a fun store where kids throughout the year are earning cadet cash for academics or behavior. They can exchange that play money in for various items. So it's a great incentive tool there that Ms. Bostic helps oversee as well.
What kind of items do you stock that with? Where do you get it from?
So Amazon's our best friend there. A lot of our teachers have connections to various donors. So I know like one of our employees has a connection to a church who has a connection to like Dollar General pallets. And so sometimes we'll get sunglasses, sometimes really nice toys, but sometimes we'll just order from Amazon little trinkets, stickers, talkies. Those are always popular, fidgets, different things like that. So it's always changing, which always makes it exciting for the kids as well. Various support. So this year we had aftercare, and aftercare we provided in-house this year. We were able to support 10 to 15 different cadets throughout the year. We offered it daily through 6:30 p.m. One of the great things this year, because we offered it in-house, we were able to provide that at no cost this year. There was always a caveat that maybe some things would have to change depending on need, but we were able to make it all year without charging that. So again, providing we know that everything is more expensive these days, families were able to take advantage of that. Because there was a no cost, we were really intentional about who took it, because the second we said that is the second everyone's kid wants to stay after school.
Yeah.
So we really worked with families, like understood their stories, like, oh, this is a true need, or if we didn't provide this, they might withdraw and different things like that. So we were able to keep several kids here because we were able to offer aftercare. Come wintertime, again, the need has never been greater. We had lots of different families reach out asking for different holiday support around the Christmas season. Again, that was a big lift for us, but I just want to give a big shout out to our staff. We collected donations among the staff. Staff posted stuff on social media and brought in donations. It was well over $1,000, and we were able to go out and purchase lots of different things and provide Christmas and gifts for 25 cadets this past year and wrap them. Creativity through the arts and STEM. So again, we're seeing lots of growth through our fine art program. So I'll catch up to my notes here. So we have some pictures there of our art show there on the left. In music class, even beyond our performances, cadets are getting different experiences. We have a class set of keyboards. We have a class set of ukuleles, boom whackers. So our cadets are getting exposure to different things in the music world. Again, as they get older, we know that in pre-academy, they'll have options to sing and band and art. Makerspace, this is how we integrate STEAM into our curriculum. So this is one of our specials class, so all cadets get to go into that makerspace at least 45 minutes a week. This was one of our holiday show. It was all about light themes, so they did LED circuit shapes. So they got to pick out different either a pyramid or a cube, and they got to make stained glass, and they each had to program their own little light that they got to turn on, and that's what they looked like at night. Do you have anything to add for makerspace or anything like that? Again, just some more pictures there. So that our spring show, some of our makerspace kids in action. That was one of our art displays for the spring show as well.
I'm sorry, are these drawn by elementary students?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Seriously?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you use a trait that
Yeah.
did all the shading and
Still.
the details, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite observation of the year. I went in there and she had, like, all the lights were off and all the light boards on. She had some kind of amazing music playing, and they were also like keyed in to what
Focused.
she had them doing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I actually got to do a walkthrough when that was happening, and then a kid came up, grabbed my hand, and wanted to tour me through all of it and explain all of it. So they knew what they were doing and knew correct art standards and terminology.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
Yeah, and the ones there in the middle, that I believe is her using her 3D pens with the students.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was the 3D pens, and she also does like mystery build challenges. So part of the makerspace, Miss Highsmith's whole mantra is failing forward. So we know sometimes our kids struggle when they make a mistake and different things like that. But makerspace and really just the arts in general, that is the time where, oh, it's okay to make a mistake. It's how do we learn from that, build resilience, what skills do we need? So sometimes those were also mystery build challenges where she broke up the classes in different groups of kids, and here's your supplies, now make this. So it's like, how can we take these supplies to build this? I think at one time it was a doghouse, maybe something to do with flowers in that instance there. The 3D pins were also used as well.
Is there a recent article in the Herald Bulletin about her?
Yeah, not Miss Highsmith, but we'll get there here in a second about all of our Herald Bulletin.
Yeah.
The spring show was also the time where the staff song came back. So we consistently surveyed our families to what can we do better? What did you enjoy most? And the big thing from holiday to spring was, where's the staff song? So we listened to that feedback and we brought back the staff song. It was all Michael Jackson this year with We Are the World. And I never heard the first song until we sung it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm showing my age.
Will you be there? It was,
Okay, I feel better.
it was the theme song from Saving, like Free Willy.
You're showing my age.
That was around.
Generation
when you,
gap right
were
here
little.
experience.
Maybe, I don't know. Again, just rounding out the creativity, that's part of our spring art show, Makerspace. They did an egg drop, so they had a little menu board because part of doing science experiments and designing things, you don't have endless supplies or a pot of gold to keep funding your ideas. So they were given a menu board of different materials and different prices. So they were given, you have a $500 budget. How can we protect our egg during an egg drop? So they got to do some experiments and design work there. Again, xylophones for our littles, ukuleles for our older kids. So we're just really proud of Miss Main, Miss Hoseman, Miss Highsmith, and just everybody for our contributions to the fine art world. Fine arts are not extra at APA, so we do really well at protecting those times. That is not something that is ever considered first on the chopping block, if ever on the chopping block. It's something that we just want to continue to expand going forward. Community is investing in our cadets, so we had our third annual Community Helper Day. It was also the largest one on record. Miss Kuntz, one of our kindergarten teachers, took the lead in planning this. This was a great way where all kids K through 5, not just kindergarten cadets, got to talk with different community helpers. So there's a list here and a couple of slides, but the City of Anderson Police Department, the utility office was here, SWAT team, but then in the gym, like different other careers, like the AMC movie theater was there. We had a pet salon there, all kinds of different things where kids got to just learn about different careers and got to talk with people, build those social skills. Curiosity was in full effect there as well. So we're just really excited and thankful for this opportunity that came out of one of our former kindergarten teachers 3 years ago, and it continues to make a large impact to this day.
And if you're curious, did they get to honk the horns?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
The air horns are lovely on this day. Right. So this is just a few of the community helpers that were involved in Community Helper Day. So those are just the different people that we reach out to, staff have connections to, and they were willing to give up 3 hours of their day to come talk with elementary students.
And they're not on there, but we did have an Indianapolis 500 princess.
Oh, it's combined with Miss Ball State University.
They didn't show up.
Oh, okay, there we go. So Indy 500 princess it is.
She was
But
by
Miss Ball
herself.
State is also Indy 500
Yeah.
princess, so they knew each other.
Keep going. So we had a new partnership. The Anderson chapter of the Indiana Black Expo reached out to us. It's in the second semester, maybe February, March time period. And they wanted to do a Cadet of the Month program at various elementary schools around Anderson because they understand that it takes a village. So it takes more than just the teachers, the families. It also takes the community recognizing, supporting, being a champion for all cadets in the city of Anderson. Anderson. So we had the inaugural winner. So we had Charlotte Smith was the inaugural winner for the entire program. And then towards the end of the year, we also recognized Zatrian Benford and then Leliana Davidson there on the far right. It was Zatrian and Leliana's day where I was in my chicken leg outfit. So I'm not in those pictures, but there are pictures floating around with me in my outfit during this recognition. But we are very excited to continue this come August. Anderson Black Expo is that first weekend after school starts, and it's at Jackson Park. They're already looking to see how else we can get involved, and we're really looking forward to that. Moving forward, more community investment. That's the mayor of Anderson, Tom Broderick. They do a mayor's grant every year that any teacher in the city can apply for. We had several apply, and Becky Simmet was one of the winners. She won a $1,400 grant for her. She does dyslexia reading club where she helps kids with their early foundational literacy skills. So that $1,400 was there to help replace some of her aging supplies, also to help her get some more advanced training so she can come back and help our young readers even more. Veterans Day, again, that's near and dear to APA and who we are. This is a great way where different community people who were veterans got to come there. Kids are really excited because their grandparents or parents or neighbors or friends got to come and they got to honor them in the way that we do, singing songs, thanking them, and different things like that. So we're always thankful for Veterans Day. Miss Kuntz, Miss Main, and Miss Hostman took the initiative on that. Moving into, I wanted to dedicate a slide strategically to junior achievement. So we call it Junior Achievement JA. JA experiences career readiness in action. So if you follow the state at all, the state is definitely putting a big emphasis on career movement. Look at the pathway changes at the secondary level, different things like that. So as an elementary school, we have a role to play in that as well, because that's where the kids are going next. So this is one of the main ways that the elementary helps with that career-minded focus. So in October, we do JA Day. This was the second year for JA Day, and that's where different people got to come in, or different adults from the industry. First Merchants Bank.
First Merchants Bank, yeah. That started, First Merchants Bank was looking for a partner in Madison County and struggling to find anybody to volunteer. So we volunteered.
We did.
Around here too.
Yeah, so they send people from actual employees of First Merchants Bank, and they have age-appropriate lessons from kindergarten through 5th grade that talk about work readiness, talk about financial literacy and community. That was in October, and then after a couple weather delays, we got our speaker spotlight in March. So that is where we had actual beyond First Merchants, we had other community partners come in and share directly about their career pathways, answer questions, their life experiences through that. And then our 4th and 5th grade Delta Echo cadets in April got to put all of that into action and go to BizTown, where they got to do hands-on there. And that's really what I like most about this progression there. They got to hear about different things in October. They got to hear more about it in March. And then a group of our cadets got to put it in action in April for a culminating experience there. Those two pictures in the bottom, those are from the Speaker Spotlight Days. So we have a police officer, that is Adam Rue, so Riel Rue's husband there. And then she is actually one of the bank people. I don't remember her name on the top of my head, but she was there talking to one of our 1st grade classes about her role in the banking industry.
And for BizTown.
And then for BizTown,
Oh,
that comes up next, yeah. So for BizTown, there's a curriculum fee with that. The kids do a bunch of lessons leading up to going to BizTown there. So there's a cost with that. And of course, the cost to get kids to BizTown, because it's connected to, it's the same building as the Indiana Math and Science Academy down there in Indianapolis. The Energy Impact Center had a United Way grant that they were looking for a recipient for. We engaged with them and responded, and they were able to select us for it. So they paid the entire cost of the trip. So that freed up some walkathon money to fund some other field trips and experiences, because this trip alone is easily $1,500 because we take 2 grade levels. We have to take 2 buses. The price of gas is high right now. So we were very thankful for the Energy Impact Center, Corey and his team for securing that grant and selecting us.
It was an awesome day.
Awesome. Some opportunities, I'll try to pick up the speed a little bit. So after school clubs, Kingdom Builders was new this year. Betty Van Alstyne, we have a group of kids who are really into their faith. And Mrs. Van Alstyne formed an after school club where it's like a Bible study, all through parent permission. Our parents are heavily supportive of this group. In this picture, they got to go, Mrs. Van Alstyne's in a passion play called Behold the Lamb around the Easter season. So the commandant, myself, and a group of us, we took 30 kids on a Wednesday night to go see this passion play, got rave reviews from the audience. On the right there is Miss Cook. We got to take 2 cadets to math pentathlon competition. This is something that came out before COVID, and then when COVID happened, you're not allowed to play the games and be close, so it kind of died off. But it came back, and we took 2 cadets, Ren Kramer and Alice Bell. They placed, and that's also something that we're looking to expand next year as well. Also had our annual cheer clinics. This is a great opportunity for our elementary cadets to connect with 29th Street. They got to come over here and perform for their friends and family. So we're just very thankful that partnership continued. Again, we have some athletic opportunities. So basketball is the primary sport that we offer. On the right there, those are our 2nd and 3rd grade teams for boys and girls. But also some of our 5th graders can participate in 29th Street middle school athletics. Archery for sure. Volleyball is another one that I know we had a couple cadets participate. So it's great, again, that our 5th graders are able to start making those connections and building those networks of support and clubs and 5th graders, and then they can build upon them as they get older into middle school. Again, we have our own version of Cadet of the Month, so it was a great program. Again, this year, we got to recognize cadets every month. Teachers got to pick them. It was a different cadet every month, so we got to spread the wealth. It was just great every Friday, once a month, to recognize all of them, get their picture taken, they get a prize, and it's just a great way to continue to uplift the kids for their behavior and academic accomplishments. National History Day was back for year 2 in action. So again, we had a group of Delta Echo cadets participate in the Carmel Regional Competition. We had 10 projects done by 21 cadets because some projects could be individual, some could be group. 6 of those 10 projects advanced to the state competition again, which was at Marian University. At the Marian University State Competition, we had some people place. So individually, 2nd place, Tori Sparks with Harriet Tubman. 3rd place was Mr. Josiah Webb with Frederick Douglass. Our group exhibits, 2nd place was Braden Rogers, Lincoln Anderson, and Zeph Harden with 9/11 Dogs. And 3rd place was Charlotte Smith and Brooklyn Birchfield with Betsy Ross. So really excited for this. This is basically all done outside of class. There is some class components there, but kids spend a majority of the time building their posters and research components outside of class with Ms. Noriega and Ms. Turner helping spearhead that. Ms. Cook helped as well. This is something that is expanding next year, and it'll be the first year that it expands up into the pre-academy. So we're really excited to see that start with Mr. Corals in 6th grade. Again, staff excellence, you talked about the Herald Bulletin there. So outside of all the staff I've already mentioned tonight, Corey Scott was our Max B nominee this year. Really proud of him. And then we had 3 teachers get spotlights in the Herald Bulletin this year: Miss Cook, Miss Hostman, and Miss Main. Of course, lots of other, we have our lead teachers. Miss Meeker helped us with all of the field trips. She did all of the paperwork side of things for that. Our Lighthouse team with Leader and me, our staff are buying into what we're trying to do, and they're leading different parts of the elementary. So we're really happy and thankful for that. So what did all of this? I get it, that was part 1. I told you to, that's why I wanted to sit down. Part 1, what did these celebrations tell us? Families want to be connected. We engage with families multitude of different ways. Community partners are willing to invest in APA. Whether we reached out to them or they reached out to us, we are willing to engage with them, and how do we improve the experiences and just overall connections that we have to our community. Staff are creating opportunities, Kingdom Builders, Math Pentathlon, the athletics, and our systems are getting stronger and more intentional. So moving into part 2, again, I'll go fast and I can stop talking whenever. It was our culture of calm. This is talking about the qualitative side of our story, systems that changed from my first year going into last year of my 2nd year. So I first want to explain what a culture of calm is. A culture of calm doesn't mean we didn't have any challenges, right? We are an elementary school. We're going to have academic challenges. We're going to have kids with behavior challenges, meltdowns. We're going to have some family disagreements there. We had our fair share of challenges this past year. The culture of calm is more about what is that response to those challenges. So a culture of calm to us means cadets know what to expect. Adults know how to respond. Routines are predictable. Systems lower urgency, and follow through becomes more consistent. Some of the big things that changed this past year, we redesigned the day. We looked at the data and it's not that cadets have to do better. We have to design an environment where they can thrive as well. So we noted my first year that there was a lot of crowded hallway movement. Lockers are across the hallways. Lockers are not in correct positions. Hallway flow when kids are getting way too close in personal space, and then that judgment gets a little unclear. So what did we do this year? We moved some lockers around and we cut down on some of that unnecessary, unstructured hallway movement. We saw a lot of referrals my first year come out of recess and lunch, that unstructured part of the day. So we moved to recess before lunch, and that created a natural regulation time. So kids still got all their energy out, but lunch was that buffer between recess and going back to class. We saw a lot fewer referrals come out of recess. Some other things that we did there, unstructured times needed stronger support. So we switched the duty placement, and teachers got to do lunch duty this year. Teachers know their kids best. They know the signs of when kids are about to have a moment or need a little break there. Our kids also trust those teachers and those adults the most because they're the ones that they're with all day. So because of those two switches, changing the order and having the teachers do lunch duty, we saw significant improvement in behavior management and also academic outcomes because kids were going back to class calmer and ready to learn.
Because the teachers then ate with their students?
They did not. So with that change, we covered their recess duty. And that was also part of it too. So recess duty became the specials teachers. The specials teachers see every single kid every single week. So that was a group that we assigned to recess. So expectations were consistent because it was the same group of people doing every single recess duty. And during that time, that's when teachers ate their lunch.
Oh.
And then after they ate their lunch, they went and supervised their kids eating lunch.
And they didn't think they would like.
Oh,
it,
yes.
but they did.
Well, yeah, I kind of wondered about.
That was one of those things where at the beginning of the year, teachers wanted to do recess duty, but by the end of the year, that was a reflection question, and they all chose that that ended up better, and they would rather do lunch duty moving forward. Dismissal flow. So we did change that during year one. So we kept that consistent. I think that's really important about a culture of calm. Culture of calm is not changing every little thing every single year. If something is working and we're seeing better results from it, let's continue it. So that's what we did with dismissal this year. This year was our first full year for our Director of Cadet Behavior role. Ms. Crystal Brown joined us around spring break the year prior, took some time to observe our systems and things like that. The biggest thing that happened with the Director of Cadet Behavior role, or these different things here, the main part is that was her background. That was her training. She comes from ABA. She deals with behaviors. She understands working with families and different things like that. So she helped provide something that I'm not saying that I was not able to give or Ms. Hornacher were able to give, but when we're asked to coach teachers academically, when we're asked to help with testing, when we're asked to help with special education, we get pulled really thin. And it's kind of that old saying, if we have to give everything a little part, we're not giving anything, all of us and all of our attention. So she helped free that up. So she provided clearer follow through. She provided stronger communication with families. Our families were on top of things this year. Her expertise, we were able to provide more targeted support. Teachers felt more supported. It also protected instructional focus. It allowed Ms. Hornacher and I to go into classrooms to meet with teachers more. We were able to help Ms. Brown when there were some bigger behavior situations, but we were able to do other parts of our job because she was able to take on that role for us. She was instrumental last year. We're really excited going into this next year, and I'll talk about that here later. This was our first full year of 3-5 instructional model change. Remember, we changed from self-contained classes to 3-5 rotating. So 4th and 5th grade had 4 different classes. 3rd grade had 2. What we saw was great things, more focused content instruction. Teachers were only having to worry about 1 or 2 subjects versus all the subjects. Structured movement breaks. Kids can't sit in a chair all day, and that's when behavior challenges happen. So because they were rotating every 60, 90 minutes, that created movement breaks and natural reset periods. That also gave us more instructional time too, because we're not losing it to those moments of dysregulation. We saw a lot more teacher collaboration, because if us four had the same kids and I was having a challenge with a student, I was able to go to my peers. Hi, what's working for that student? Hey, did you notice something was off there? So we were able to better support our students. And then again, that more instructional time overall. With this, this is kind of the secondary part coming down. Teachers knew, like, I only get this group of kids for 60 minutes. If I don't get through what I need to get through, the classes are going to be off pace and different things like that. So we saw a lot less downtime, which meant higher academic outcomes, less behavior calls because kids aren't bored, and so on and so forth. Stronger systems also supported staff. So our academic, behavioral, and social emotional support systems were able to provide more supports for staff. Staff were able to become content experts, reach out to Ms. Hornacher about their subject areas. We were able, because we reduced their planning loads, we were able to provide clear guardrails. So we brought in a math curriculum this past year, IXL Takeoff. That was there, that provided structure and resources for all of our teachers, K-5. Shared ownership, our lead teachers were able to provide supports in different ways. We were able to listen to staff voice. But so overall, we saw a lot of progress towards overall staff morale. Well, it was really positive this past year. It was really just exciting to be in the building. That's Ms. Noriega with some of our ML cadets on the right. That bottom picture there was when our good old friend, the wind, decided to take off part of our roof. That was the 2-hour delay we had because that happened on a Friday, and we had to clear out some of those rooms just in case the storms over the weekend came through and we're going to ruin some of our makerspace materials, our technology. So we had a 2-hour delay that Monday, and that's our staff getting the morning memo of this is what we all need to do to work together to get this building put back together and welcome kids at 9:30. It was organized chaos at its finest, but just like APA always does, we come together and we were able to get through that situation with flying colors. Family communication is getting stronger, so we are proactively communicating with families more. Parent Square is our main method for that. Clear communication, so we did the Parent Square attendance notices were something that we did this year. We had more intentional attendance tracking. We listened to family feedback with our report cards. Some of the biggest challenges with our academic model is, why are my kids get all A's, but they are being recommended for retention or summer school, or why didn't they get proficient on iRead or iLearn? Well, that's because our academic model meets kids where they are. So if we're meeting them where they are, they should be demonstrating A's and B level work because that's the level that they're ready for. So to help bridge that gap there, we created a new GLE report card that better explained what those letter grades meant. This is the level of work that your kid is doing, 2.7. They're in the middle of second grade, end of second grade level work. The GLE report cards also allowed us a way to communicate community service hours, which is a big question floating out there in the parent world, and also allowed us to do some more behavior core value progress. How is my kid doing, staying on time, making good choices, following directions and stuff like that.
Report on that.
Keep going, Leader in Me. So Leader in Me does what they call a measurable results assessment. It basically is a review of our culture of our school. So if you see here, staff and system strengths, all of our scores went up. So staff voice went up 8 points to 85. School goals went up to 83. The Leader in Me trainer and the people that we talk about, on average, schools only go up 2 or 3 points. So obviously we are beating the average right now. That shows us that what we are doing at the elementary school is resonating with the staff. They are buying into it. They are feeling that their voices are being heard. We are taking their feedback and making productive change. They understand the goals that we're working on as a school, and they understand what we have to do. This year we gave it to cadets for the first time ever, and that's the next step going forward is how do we transfer more of this leadership work to the cadets, and that's our focus going into next year. So what felt different? Our school year was more predictable. More people were supported. No one was carrying the work alone. It was consistent. The response did not depend on the moment because we had clearer systems in place. People felt more connected and everything was more intentional. We just weren't chasing the shiny things, right? We were collecting feedback from surveys. We were on the front lines, talking with people, trying to identify patterns and taking that and making productive change.
Can we pause you? Because we do have bookkeeping plus kind of
Yep.
on hold, and then come back.
Yes,
Recess.
that works. Yes, gives me a minute to breathe. Sorry.
It's all right.
I can come back another time too.
No, it's phenomenal.
Okay. Yes, I'm gonna keep this hopefully to
Very good so far.
halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really
And
good.
I've already read
There.
the part 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I've read it many times.
Thanks, editor. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the break.
You're welcome. Texting. Oh, she's ready.
All right.
Oh, you are still with us.
I am.
All right. Thank you. We'll continue on with the rest of that presentation here shortly, but we'll move forward here to the next thing on the agenda here is to discuss the 2026-2027 budget reading and discussions from there. So I'll turn the floor over to Beth and Dave as well too, and of course Jill, to discuss the budget.
Do you want me to go first, Dave, or do you want to say something?
Well, why don't you and Jill go ahead and start here.
Okay, so basically, we've gone through this budget. This year I'll be, Jill and I've had a bit of a challenge because there's so many things up in the air. And so we've done our best guess on things, we still may have to make some adjustments when fall comes. But we do have a balanced budget. We based it on 700 students and then did an income accordingly. Jill's gone through and, she's applied, there's some additional grants that are available that she's applied for the CFIG, which she feels pretty comfortable with. So, the monies that we put on there, we feel comfortable that we're gonna receive those monies. There's been a little bit of a cut in Title I, which we've reflected that on there as well. So the income is, I feel, really, really good about where our income is going to be. As far as the increases in salary, basically, we're fairly flat this year. There is some money in there for bonuses, which are also covered by grants, which are part of the grant. So, we're able to do those. Benefits, we put a minimal increase, but because as you remember, we're, on the marketplace now, so it's not dependent upon having to go through renewal and the increase of that. We can keep it flat or, a small increase. We have a small increase in there. Which is the portion that the school pays. As Jill had mentioned earlier, as far as the insurance, I'm really going over some big ticket items. We feel that that's gonna go down some. We have adjusted that down some, but not significantly, but we did adjust that down a little bit. One of the areas that we talked about on the cash flow just tonight was the vocational. We have 40,000. We are concerned that it might be a little bit higher this year, so we've actually budgeted 90, so.
Oh,
we're
yeah,
trying to go
yeah.
75. So we budgeted that a little bit higher because we just want to be conservative on that. As far as those, Jill's really gone through and fine tuning, like professional development and, all the different supplies. And put those in there. We still have substitutes in there because there seems to be people still want to take off for different things.
How rude.
So, we've done those.
I think that amended budget process, which we did later in the year, I think that was a help to constructing our budget for the next year. Because we took out a bunch of costs that were we'd overestimated.
And there still may be some adjustments. The problem is you just don't know where it's gonna come in.
Mhm.
And we've got, just as everyone knows, we still have that CSP grant through November, so we've allowed for the expenses in there, and then the expenses after that are not gonna be covered. And then they'll be covered then by the fees, which we are building that budget as far as the CSP working through the preschool, so we're building that budget.
Mhm.
But we have these, so again, that's sort of like worst case scenario is in this budget. which again, with, the fees and things that'll be covered on that side, will potentially create some of this to go down as well. So, I mean, there's give and takes on both sides where, you know, we just don't know, there's just a lot of variables that we're working with, but I mean, overall, I still feel really pretty good about this. You know, as always, depending on where the ADM comes, we're gonna pray that the ADM comes in at 800 and we'll be happy days.
Yeah, that would solve a lot of problems.
You know, but, you know, we just don't know. I mean, it's where it is
Yeah.
as far as that goes. So, you know, we've got the loan, as far as our lease payments, you know, as you mentioned, a lot of that's been taken care of and been paid off, so that's very helpful. We did have, in this budget, we do have the line of credit being paid off because we thought we had to pay it off in September. So that honestly gives us a little flexibility, as far as that goes, which is good. So with all of that being said, basically the bottom line is we are showing a $5,545 surplus. So with the line of credit not having to be paid off, that can help us a little bit with our cash flow, which will give us a little bit more. As always, we never budget with a beginning cash balance
Right.
because we want to have a break-even budget without a beginning balance.
And this also doesn't include any rollover reimbursements or anything that we would
Correct.
have, so.
Which we always have, you
Yeah.
know, but we just try to be conservative on those things because, you know, everything's gonna roll over and I'll, you know, keep it, you know.
Well, I think with the grants, which, you know, you've applied for all of them, the 3 or 4 of them, if we can get all of those in the full amount, I think that will really boost what we can do this next year. Of course, everything's always contingent on enrollment. And as we have learned, it's very hard to predict that successfully
Yeah.
before the actual start of the year. So maybe we'll get a break this year.
Maybe.
I can help.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions?
I don't.
Well, I think that, I think this is a true break-even budget. Again, there's no guarantee on anything that we have in process or in the works, but, I think Jill and everyone else involved with the grants, we go after just about everything that's out there. And, I think that, 700 is a very defendable choice for an ADM constant. On the budget, of course, we hold it constant all year, ignoring the 2 separate ADM counts. And I think from what I have heard, I think we stand a very good chance of getting everything that we have been asking for. And so I think this is to me a legitimate break-even budget, which I think the board should feel comfortable in approving. And of course, any organization, a budget is just that. It's our best estimates of what will happen the next year. And there's a long length of time between May or June and then the following May or June. And many times you don't meet the budget. Sometimes you beat the budget. So
Yeah, we can't ever predict any curveballs.
I think
So-
Bookkeeping Plus, I know you guys have done a heck of a lot of work on this and these are not careless estimates, a lot of thought. You guys have put into these numbers and we've always tried to be conservative. Which sometimes it looks like we're running it pretty close, but I think it's best to not overestimate than to perhaps underestimate a little bit on certain things, so.
I agree.
You guys done a great job, I think.
Thanks.
Definitely not an
We
easy
may not
task.
make it, but who knows? I think it's our best. We think that we can at least achieve this much and maybe more. We'll just have to see. And if the enrollment again doesn't go our way, we are fully prepared. You have plans. We will meet whatever the circumstances are. So
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and that is one of the things where, you know, as I said, my CEO report, right? We're building contingencies because you just don't know. And with everything at the national level happening, with the federal administration and some of those funding, situations, but also with our economy and inflation and, student enrollment across the country and birth rates and, I know Stottie's in there, so we've got a math guy in here, but there are definitely more variables going into this budget to consider that we've never had to
Yes.
consider those things, or a minimal part of them. And so that is one where, you know, what I'm gonna say the thing that hopefully some people are thinking at the state level, we don't know the impact of these suspended gas price, gas taxes and excise taxes, right? Yes, it's absolutely helping individual people, but our state likes to keep their surplus nice and healthy. Education already took a lot of cuts during the last long session. We're coming up to a long session again in January with, you know, a big budget, and for the state to be open for business, as our governor really wants us to be, they can't afford to lose a large tax base. So that is something that I am keeping at the, you know, the back of my mind, where who's taking that cut to make up for that. So I do think that this is conservative for this, but we also, you know, trying to work and make sure that we're not gonna be going out and getting any Rolls Royces or anything like that. We did go through a lot of
Corvettes though are
Corvettes,
okay,
maybe, yeah, Corvettes. Ooh, Brian, I think your computer just died.
Yeah,
Oh, it probably did, I.
We lost Beth. She'll be back, maybe. I do think, you know, as we evaluated supplies we typically get, or, we've kind of taken a break from asking parents to bring in a lot of hand sanitizer and those things, you know, they made it their way back to the supply list at K through 12. And we aren't charging the school fees like we're not supposed to, but, we're gonna have to get creative on some of those things or go without. We are phenomenal at getting grants, but we are also phenomenal at community partners and donations, and gonna have to rely on those things or figure out how to make it go in a different way. That's one of the best parts of us having those maker spaces is our teachers and our kids are learning you can turn a paperclip into a lot of fun things. So we do have a lot of great things that are coming for us next year. Very excited about that. We did streamline some of our curriculum, cut the fat and some unnecessary programs or programs that were not delivering the results we wanted, and found ones that are better. And they also fiscally work better for
I
us
think
as
you
well.
went through with me, was it 9 different positions that will not be reappearing in this budget right here?
Oh,
So
we have more than that.
More than that even.
Yeah, and I know we've got executive sessions, so we can go through that a little bit deeper later, but I mean, we've been making cuts over the last 3 years. It was great as enrollment was going up with obviously the COVID fallout and all that. Not great about COVID, but we could have a lot of positions that from a budget standpoint are kind of a luxury. They're not a luxury because they're what we need to take care of kids. But
that can change each year too, so
Right.
yeah,
so
I
we've made
think
adjustments.
been pretty good at moving people around.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where, because we have seen, you know, that dip within that about last 2 years, instead of having to do a lot of the sky is falling and, you know, hurting our culture and climate and all of those, it's that position became vacant. Do we actually need to fill that, or is there a better solution? And so that's, you know, one where I want to applaud our leadership team. for having kind of that foresight and being willing to have those conversations. And that the conversations have all been focused on kids. What's uncomfortable for adults sometimes is what's best for kids. And the people that work here at APA understand that and actually believe it. It's not like we really want to make it really uncomfortable for anybody, because happy teachers, happy kids. But you know, sometimes we might not need an extra pencil sharpener, all those things. We've stockpiled a lot of stuff too. We've got some supply hoards in some places.
Down in the tunnel. That's where-
Down in the tunnel with the
I
hidden
didn't know we
fan.
had tunnels here, but.
Oh yeah, we
I'll
do.
do it.
Down here in this thing. Although they're not nearly as creepy or dirty as they used to be. So props to our maintenance team on that. I will text Beth.
Yeah, you want to wait for her till we vote for her.
Yeah, she's hopped back on.
Okay.
We're still live on the
On
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
Mhm.
Hi YouTube family. How are you?
So does that mean that our ending net income would be negative $43,000?
No.
No,
Right now,
That's the
so for us to,
June 27 budget, but that's not the total then?
yeah,
is
that's
that
not for the month. If you go to the very
Yeah,
last
the
column.
5,000
This column here is our
This
final.
one, this is the final.
the final.
Yeah, and that is not including
The
any,
5,000.
yeah. For us, for our Ball State budget requirements, that number needs to be 0 or above, not below. So this is just worst case scenario and assumes we start the year with no money whatsoever.
What's that debt to income ratio based on this?
Debt
We
service
can't
coverage
calculate it
ratio.
on that.
Yeah, that, we'd have to use an accrual set of numbers. Basically, it's earnings without interest expense or depreciation. In other words, just pure cash flow, available cash, and then you divide your debt service into it. There she
Welcome
is,
back,
yeah.
Beth.
There we go.
And you want them at a minimum to be equal. In other words, you've got enough cash to pay off all your
Your
debt
camera's not live.
service
Right.
or higher.
What's up, Zach?
Your camera's not live.
Picture of you.
My
Where's-
bad, I'm having a rough night
It's okay.
tonight. All right,
Yeah.
hold on a second.
Yes, she can see.
Have the microphone on, too.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
Sorry.
Hi, Beth.
Well done.
Yes.
I can go over that with you
Awesome.
afterwards if
Yeah.
it helps.
Yeah,
But thank you everyone for talking and discussing the 2026-2027 budget here. All right.
I assume we're
Anything
voting
else?
to
Well,
approve
we're ready
that.
to
Yeah.
I think.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the 2026-2027 budget as presented this evening?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026-2027 budget as presented. Steve?
All right,
I'll second it.
so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose? Motion carries. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Jill. Thank you for everyone who was part of this budget. I know that's sometimes some challenging work and some challenging discussions as well. So we got across the threshold and we got it approved too. So I appreciate everyone who was part of that finance team to get this done. Yes.
thanks, Beth.
Yeah,
See you
thanks,
next
Beth,
month.
for sticking on. Hi, good evening.
If anything else.
Real quick, Jill, can we discuss the open referendum board position before we refer back?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so that looks like it's pretty quick here.
Oh, yeah, it's a fast one.
All right.
So going into this year, the legislators have made it so that if a public school is pursuing a referendum, that they do have to share with their public charter counterparts. And with the way a lot of those processes are working, there is not typically enough time for us to get that approved in a board meeting to pursue that funding before the deadline for IDOE and for that school district. So I'll use an example. We did get contacted by Wayne Township because we do have one Wayne Township kiddo whose parent might be here in the room. And our proportionate share of their $29 million was gonna be $1,849. But one of the caveats on that is, yes, we could be eligible for that, but we also have to help fund the referendum efforts. So the advertising, if there's any studies done, those parts, and they can't exactly tell you what your proportionate share is because they don't know how many other schools are gonna participate in that as well. And so what I thought would be best for us is to go ahead and just make a standing resolution that when we are given those opportunities, we will do a cost benefit analysis of it. And then if it makes the most fiscal sense for us, we will go ahead and pursue that. Obviously, our biggest public school partner is Anderson Community Schools. They are pursuing a referendum right now, but they are actually just looking at renewing their current operating referendum, not a new operating.
But it has to be a brand new one.
Yes, so what they will probably do in 2028 is pursue a full new one, because when they pursued their original referendum, the operating portion was only within like $2 million, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And so we will be eligible for that, but also in 2028, unless anything changes, we will also be eligible for a proportionate share of
Property taxes, yeah, okay.
And, that's good, great, well, all that stuff, but that's not going to be enough for either ACS or APA or whoever else would be eligible for that to really make a dent. With the property tax caps here in Madison County, that's why they have to keep going for referendums, because ours have amazing caps if you are the property owner. But that's not gonna help with all of the rising costs that schools are facing. Most of our expenses are between 10 and 20% higher. One of the things that I am keeping a very watchful eye on would be our municipality utilities, because
The
a lot of
Utilities.
proposals there,
Yeah.
and when you have local utilities, they are not actually part of that regulatory body. And so if they would decide, hey, we're doing 18% hike.
Now,
those
you
not match.
have said that I think 22nd Street is mostly all electric.
Yes,
And this, we do have natural gas here, but this is a sizable electric as well. I think 25th Street is, what is it, the old boiler
It's-
system or
yeah, but it's, right
But
now, we're not.
not even
using
really
those, so
using,
It'll
so
be
it doesn't
electric.
matter. It'll be electric too.
Yeah. And we do have, as part of our gas, we are part of a gas co-op, essentially. So we do get a reduced cost on that natural gas, but then you gotta pay an admin fee too, so it's not,
Yeah.
you're still saving money, just maybe not as much as
Mhm.
they originally.
As
was
they
on that.
advertise, yeah.
Yeah, and then one of the challenges we get, this building is 143,000 square feet. We are a big electric draw in the city, and so we get a demand charge as well. We get one for 22nd Street. But that demand charge is a few $1,000s a month, and I think it was the month of January. I think the electric bill, for people's perspective, was shocking for one of our employees. This building's electric bill was about $17,000 for that really rough winter month. And they're asking me, how much is an electric bill around here? I was like, you don't want that answer. It'll make you not feel, oh my gosh, is that like 2,000 or 3,000? And just keep going, guys. So with this resolution, to kind of circle back to that, it would just, give our leadership the opportunity to pursue what will best benefit APA and access to some of that additional funding without also hurting ourselves in it.
Yep.
Yes.
So in other words, you can act quickly without having to try to convene the board at some inconvenient time when
Yes.
Ryan is flying over to Thailand or somewhere.
Yeah.
And, yeah, everybody's scattered, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then it does say in there, and I know you guys have a chance to read it, but then at the next regular board meeting, I would absolutely say, hey, here's what we pursued or didn't pursue.
Mhm.
And it's not that we will have a lot of those coming our way, but you know, Boy Scout it,
Well,
be
I
prepared for
am
anything.
prepared to
Yeah.
make a motion
Thank you.
to that effect that we pass a board resolution giving you authority to act upon any school's referendums as soon as you're aware of them. And you can pursue that, and then at the next convenient time, you do keep the board informed as to what we're doing, and
Okay. Thank you.
secretary might want to polish that up a bit, but that's the gist of it.
Thank you. We have a motion. Can I get a second on that? Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Thank you for Jill for that, and I'm sure you'll report back to us when that happens.
We
All right.
did not go for the Wayne Township one.
Do you want signatures tonight
Uh,
on this then?
oh, let me get a cleaner printer copy and then I'll get
Yeah, and it's got the old date on it.
Yeah.
But not.
Yeah, I gotta update them. I did that
All
one.
right.
Yeah.
We will revert back to our APA spotlight with Captain Stralma and Captain Hornecker. Finish up here.
Dave, the bank said this, is that proposal for the computer?
This is my
So
side part.
if you agree with it, we'll use it.
Sign it.
Like, you take those.
And then we'll have to do those. Good. We got a really decent rate on that. All things considered.
There's only 20 slides left, I promise. 41,
Is it
60,
only-
62. There's only 20.
I will say my
That is a
PDF of
very
this
thick
is
booklet
89
you got
pages.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it is in the 80s when I was.
Yeah, so part one, that was like just celebrating all of the great momentum that we had at the elementary this past year. Part two was that qualitative study, just like how the building and the whole school and the culture and climate felt different last year. So basically now it's putting our money where our mouth is. What does the numbers say? And I'm a math person, so this was fun for me. So there was basically just some guiding questions here. So it's like, are cadets growing? That is like our goal as a school. Are cadets growing? Two is that growth moving our kids towards grade level readiness? As they closing the gap? We know some of our kids are behind, and sometimes they're more than a year behind, so we got to do some work to close that gap. And then three, are our commerce systems helping cadets stay in school and in class? Those were kind of our guiding questions through this. To get started, I wanted to talk about like what did our year look like numbers wise. So we had 276 cadets attended at least 20 days. I'm not saying we ended the year with 276, but we had at least 276 attend 20 days. Of those 276, those of our grade level distributions, pretty consistent across the board. Grade 4 is a little lower, 11%. That's where we can start seeing the ramifications of the mandatory retention law in third grade. That lowers our numbers at the fourth grade level. Gender, we have more females than male. Special education, 29% of our kids were SPED. Some two very critical points that we're going to look at. Our second grade cohort, 46% have an IEP. Okay.
Wow.
Of all of our male students, right? So male students represent 43% of our overall population. 37% of them have an IEP.
Wow.
Okay. Multilingual learners, so typically these are our, for APA, our Spanish-speaking students at the elementary, but it's beyond just Spanish. It's really just any language other than English. 12% of our population was identified as ML. Grade 3 was the highest at 17%. High ability, we had 16% overall. And with our race, there's our racial breakdown, 42% white. So we're around 60-40 minority majority there. Okay.
Now, are any multilingual learners also special ed?
Yes.
There is some
That grade
crossover.
2 number goes all the way up to 55% if you put SPED and ML combined.
And some of our ML learners and special ed learners are
Also
also
high
high ability
ability.
So we have
learners.
Okay.
thrice
Yeah.
exceptional. I'm coining that. I don't know
There
if
you
it's
go.
made it into public.
Yeah, we have.
Into the
lots-
canon yet,
so
but-
We have lots of overlap.
Well, that
between
has to
those
be
three
affecting
specialties.
the iRead scores, all of the standardized tests, wouldn't
You'll see.
it? Okay.
All right. Let's just jump right back in. We're going to look at our overall academic growth snapshot. So this is kind of like the first question. Are cadets growing? That answer is yes. So if you look at our two assessments here, we have IXL on the left, NWEA on the right. They are both nationally normed assessments. They do measure different things within the content areas. So if we look at IXL across the entire elementary, around 94% of our kids grew from beginning of year to the end of the year. ELA is around 93%. When we look at IXL, they put an emphasis on average for grades 1 through 5, kids should be growing at least 100 points a year. 100 points is equivalent to 1 year. So for our grade 1 through 5 cadets, we saw 92 points in growth. For ELA, 87%. So again, we're getting closer, but we're not there yet. For NWEA, again, similar. We're seeing the growth there, 92% in math, 86% in ELA. What's interesting here is those growth goals. So NWEA, when you take it in the fall, it'll base off your score. It'll tell you give you a projected score by the end of the year. And we call that like a growth goal. So in mathematics, 45% of our kids met their growth goal and around 46% met it in ELA. What's important here is that national benchmark across the entire country in NWEA, approximately 50% of students meet their growth goals. So I know 40% sounds like, oh, over half the school didn't meet their growth goals, but that is almost on par with national expectations. So not even schools beyond APA, schools in California, rich schools, lower socioeconomic schools, 50% reach their bench.
Now, are these numbers, how would Ball State view these? Would these be numbers that they would say, yeah, that's what we're looking for?
Yeah, so Ball State's big emphasis is growth.
Yeah.
And like, how are we looking at growth? How are we moving the needle towards grade level proficiency and those standards? And that's what our story is.
But they have been pretty
I think he
pragmatic.
gets to it, but on the IXL especially, Ball State will be happy because when you compare it to what our growth was last year,
Yeah.
Ah,
it's
okay.
significantly different. So
They've been very pragmatic about where we operate.
Yes.
So I guess, yeah, that's
Yeah.
great news then.
So basically, this snapshot here kind of addresses the first question: are cadets growing? The answer is yes. The second grading question is that growth starting to close some gaps? That answer is kind of mixed, right? So in IXL, we didn't reach the 100 point exactly for grades 1 through 5. For NWEA, even at that 50% benchmark, we're still around 5 percentage points away. So it's a little bit more mixed on that second question. From here, from the whole school lens, we broke it down by grade level. So this is IXL by grade level with the growth. So blue is math, gray is English and reading. Whoa. Okay, so I mean, the first thing that, again, for grades 1 through 5, we're wanting to see over 100 points. So this paints a different picture. And the obvious is third grade was the highest, but 3 through 5 had a lot of growth there, right? And at the end of the day, we cannot pinpoint the exact reason why that growth there, but that's where we made the instructional model change, right? That's where kids are rotating. We have our consistent behavior plans, better systems in place. This tells me right here in just one data point that maybe that 3-5 model is working, right? Because look at third grade math, 131. They met the 100-point goal and then some. That's closing the gap. Right? If you look here, like first grade, we're getting close to that 100 points here, right? Fourth and fifth grade was approaching. Look at our ELA reading, right? And I will give the white flag to our English teacher of the room. English has to be the superior content because if you can't read and comprehend, how can you answer math questions? So I'll give it that.
Well, and this, I was gonna say, if he didn't bring it up, this statistically proves
Yeah.
when you consistently improve reading instruction and
Yeah.
reading comprehension, math goes up, and actually math goes up faster score wise because it's multi-step processes and the critical thinking. Also, when you get into word problems, now they're able to look for the important keywords and facts. A lot of those reading skills, once you flip that switch, the math goes up a lot higher. So this is statistically supporting decade of research.
And then like our
Just
third, fourth, and fifth grade ELA rating, again, we're attributing that to some of our instructional changes, our different curriculum, like the IXL math curriculum, that could probably be a factor into this. Dave, you talked about second grade, right? Data is suggesting that we have something that we need to look at a little bit more. It's not that we're not doing anything particular. We know that
It's
there's a
just
high need
particular
there.
mix of kids we
Yes.
have, yeah.
Yeah, so we have to do something else because some of those kids are moving on to third grade, and third grade we get that's a highly testable year with iRead and different things like that. But this is showing that impact of the high SPED rate and high ML rate is having an impact on our second grade results. Kindergarten's a little different. IXL doesn't say that 100 points is a full year in kindergarten. We kind of look at their end of year. 100 would be like first grade, beginning of first grade. So our math was there. End of year ELA was at a 76, so we're a little bit lower. Again, so this is telling us that we gotta focus on the lower elementary next. Early literacy skills, different foundational work, because if this improved alone, just imagine if we started at the kindergarten first grade level, what this could look like over here. Okay. So that's the IXL. If you look at percentiles, so the thing with percentiles, that's compared to a national norm. The idea is if the percentile is positive, they exceeded the growth compared to their national peers. A negative percentile doesn't mean that they didn't grow, right? They just didn't grow as fast
much,
as
yeah.
their national peers. So this also goes back to the closing the gap question, because look at the difference between IXL 3, 4, and 5, where boom, 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 and look over here. This tells us third grade, like we have a whole separate data point now that's connected to IXL, that's connected to our behavior and attendance data. We did some movement in third grade. We 10 percentage points, or 10, we moved the percentile 11.4 points in third grade in math and 6.2 in ELA. If you look here at fourth and fifth grade, again, this doesn't mean that they didn't grow, right? Because we just showed you in the
Correct.
slide before that they grew. It's just not as fast as their national peers, which shows us that we are closing the gap, but the gap is so large, right? These are our end of COVID kids, right?
Okay,
Our gap
you
is
forecast this, in other words, the fourth and fifth, which are making progress, but not as much as the peer group. What's gonna happen when they get in over here, for example?
Yeah,
Is
so
that something that,
that's where we had to work on our collaboration between buildings, right? So it's like we know this data going into it. Of course, sixth grade team doesn't know our kids, doesn't know our data. So it's our responsibility and duty as an elementary school for Ms. Hornacher and myself and their academic team here to meet together so we can address this and
Address
keep
that.
moving it forward. Ultimately, we are passing the torch, but we
Right.
are here to support because we've had
because
these
like
kids
you
for so
said,
many
that
years.
doesn't mean bad.
Correct. And
Necessarily.
that's the emphasis.
And the interesting thing with NWA too is the kids that meet their growth goal, their percentile doesn't necessarily change. So the kids, like third grade, that means most of those kids far exceeded their growth
Yeah.
goal to grow that. So a lot of the times, we've had to learn that as a staff, that we're not satisfied with just meeting our goal. We want those kids to go above and beyond. So we're actively working to do that
Yeah.
constantly.
And again, we're seeing positives in lower elementary, right? So again, those kids aren't as far behind. They're younger in elementary. Kindergarten, this is a different sign too, right? That we really got to focus on that early literacy foundational piece because we saw in IXL, they were approaching a little bit work to do, the same with NWEA as well. From here, so I learned checkpoints. This is a third data point. So the I learned checkpoints are only for grades 3 through 5.
I'll click for you, see.
Oh, thank you.
Going back.
Are only for grades 3 through 5. And what the difference between iLearn and like NWEA and IXL, so like IXL and NWEA really try to focus on where you are. It's adaptive, different questions at different levels. The checkpoints only ask you grade level standards. Right. So this is also going to help that question, is the gap closing? Because these are the grade level standards for each of these grades. So like we could have some fifth grade students academically doing third grade level work, but when they take this test, it's only going to give them fifth grade level work because it's that grade level readiness thing. So what do we see here? So we got math on this side, ELA. Again, we're seeing a lot of positives come out of third grade. That's our story of the year here. What these charts show us, we take the checkpoints in two opportunities. It's kind of like a pre-test and a post-test. The checkpoints are independent of each other. They have different standards that they cover throughout the year. So what this chart tells us, this tells us the percentage of kids that improved proficiency level or stayed at or above. So look at third grade math. Consistently throughout the year, different standards, different times of year, 55 to 63% of kids improved their proficiency level or they stayed at the at or above proficiency for third grade. That's wonderful, right? Look at the third grade reading. Again, we started off low at the 40%, but as the year keeps going on, different standards, different routines, teachers using data to adjust instruction. And look, as the checkpoints, more and more kids got closer and closer to grade level expectation.
There on the math, they really came on strong at the end of the year.
Something clicked in checkpoint 3.
Of course, then I guess the question is, what level, low level were they starting from to begin with?
Mm-hmm. But just remember, the fourth grade checkpoint is only asking them fourth grade questions.
Yeah.
Fifth grade too, but again, fifth grade, you're starting to see a picture here. It's our little anomaly year. They are growing, but some of the impacts of the pandemic and just other factors outside of their control have really left impact and work for us to do as a school and as a society as well. Do you have anything to add about the checkpoints?
No, I mean, our teachers are really locked in on it.
Yeah.
It's given us some
So,
valuable data.
Yeah, the checkpoints, the state provides blueprints, and that is our scope and sequence, right? So it's like when checkpoint 1 opens, these are the standards that we are going to focus on. The state has put out proficiency level descriptors, which helps us make sure that we're asking the right questions at the right level of rigor, because some of our analysis was our questions are at the below proficient range. So how would our cadets ever get to the at or above proficient, because we're not even asking them questions at that level. So it's really done a lot of work for us, positive.
Yeah,
Jill?
and can you guys reiterate how we are doing checkpoints at the elementary level? We're not doing it yet at middle school, and we will be next year, but.
So if you look at checkpoint 1 opens in mid-September and closes in November. So we take the first opportunity and like that first week it opens in September, and we kind of count that as our pre-test, right? We get all this great data back from the state, and our teachers and Ms. Hornacher and ourselves, we analyze that data.
It
so
tells
we
us
can
specifically how they did in each standard, so
Yes.
the teachers know
what we
okay,
can
they
cover
know
and focus
this,
on.
but they don't know this. So it gives us kind of a
then
guide.
at the end of the checkpoint window, we take the test again to see how much those kids have grown. Right. So a lot of teachers have sticker charts and color codes. Like you'll see like in first checkpoint, you'll see a lot more red and orange and not so much green or blue. But then by the end of the checkpoints, you're seeing a lot less red. There's still some red there. Sometimes the kids are so low that even growing 100 or 200 points, that's awesome growth. We should celebrate that. But it's still not there yet to the level that the state says that we should be at.
Oh, when is checkpoint 3 taken?
Checkpoint 3 opens up in February and closes in April. The state has really weird windows.
Oh, it's over a time period.
Yeah, it's usually over an 8-week time period. Like checkpoint 2 straddles the semesters. It opens mid-November and closes into January.
We really wish checkpoint 1 opened in August.
And not mid-September.
So that we could get started sooner on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how we use it, kind of that pre-test, post-test to measure growth. I think it's a great thing. It's helped some of the checkpoint testing. So if we have 3 checkpoints and we take them twice, that's 6 tests. And then people can talk about over testing, test anxiety. We kind of saw the opposite. Because we took the test so frequently, teachers thought that kids had less test anxiety because they did it so frequently. Because we were setting goals and kids could see visuals of their stickers moving proficiency levels, kids were more bought in and willing to engage with us, and our teachers were too, right? Like when we say things like if we say like, I don't know this, or I'm not good at this, your brain starts to believe it eventually, right? But if our teachers, they're seeing the growth, you can do this, you can improve your scores, and kids start to believe in themselves more too.
I noticed it today with iRead because
I was helping one of the classes and one little boy goes, when are we gonna do the real test? Like you just did.
So this is a little bit about the checkpoint. We'll keep going.
Ready?
I'll try to go faster. Okay, so projection. So those were the checkpoints. It leads into what the big iLearn is called. It's called the summative assessment, right? So these are the summative assessments, and we have last year's proficiency rate. So in mathematics, as an elementary school, from the 24-25 school year, 8.4% of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders were proficient in math, according to the state. English, it was 10.8%. Okay. This year's summative scores are not coming out until September or October because they're renorming it, which should be a good thing for us, and we'll take that. We'll keep our hopes up for that. However, the state has taken our checkpoint data and given us a projection based off those checkpoint results. So based off our current checkpoints, the state is projecting that our math proficiency for 25-26 will be 19%, and in ELA it'll be around 22%. I get it. Those numbers are still in the late teens, early 20s, and different things like that. If you look at the state averages, even schools in Carmel, Hamilton County, they're in the 40s and 50s. So it's not like we're way far off from what these other schools are doing or the state averages, but this is a very positive projection.
Yeah, one interesting connection is that NWEA makes projections
Mhm.
for how they think our kids will do on iLearn, and I've never seen this before for us. I've been here a long time, and it probably won't happen because of different ways that the summative assessments affect our kids. But our 3rd graders it says most students are projected to be proficient in math.
Yeah.
So that's a huge change.
Yeah.
For
We
us.
learned-
And for this, I'll cut in on the
Yep.
data and then I'll let you keep going. And so back in the day, we had this thing called PL 221, which was about accountability, and it would tell you what reasonable percentile growth would be. And that is what we did with our Ball State review. We used that type of measure, and a reasonable or encouraging percentile growth would be between 3 and 5% in 1 year. So if you're looking over here, we're at 11.6% there. So this projected growth is far exceeding what would be adequate yearly progress or a reasonable consideration for that. And then, of course, it's telling us these proficiency numbers, but they're renorming this test all like during the summer. So they're probably going to curve that, and our actual proficiency numbers are going to be higher than what it's even projecting.
And we learned a lot with the summative. Like, I'll be honest with you, we had some scheduling issues. The summative tests are substantially longer than the checkpoints. Checkpoints are like 20-25 questions. The summative, 47, 50 questions. And as a teacher, I don't need to ask 50 questions to know if someone understands the standard or not, but I don't make the test. So those kids who have been trained to take 25 question tests and different things like that, their stamina is being put to the test, different things like that. Also, our scheduling, we'll be honest with you, there's 4 parts to the iLearn. We took 4 parts, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, back to back to back to back. And then I discovered that the iLearn window gives us 4 weeks to complete the test. So I'm like, why did we just take this test? Not only is the test longer, but we did it back to back to back to back. That's defeating. So we learned a lot there, and we've already made adjustments. I just met with the testing coordinator today. We have readjusted all of our checkpoint dates, and we've spread out the summative test where there's a break in between each of the parts.
And
there.
we're also going to, even like during the ELA part, set a time limit. Like we're going to work for X amount of time,
Mhm.
and then the teachers can pause the test and take a break, so
Come
that
back.
because by about 2025, their interest in the test fizzles
Yes.
away.
Right,
So
yeah.
who knows what they do on the second half? That way, it's kind of maybe broken up a little bit for the kids that need the break. They'll get the break,
Yeah.
and hopefully.
So we've learned a lot.
Kids
so we're-
are just
Yep.
kids,
Yep.
and you gotta take that into account.
It's
for sure.
they're brutal. I gave it this year. It's not like one of the kids asked me to explain the directions, and I was like, maybe, how about we just reread them and let's see what
Yeah.
it says, because it's not simple.
Yeah.
Even as adults, sitting
Mhm.
down and taking a.
Mhm.
I'd like to see the legislators take some of these
There
tests.
you go. There we go.
Us too.
They're
Yes,
so
us
eager
too.
to.
Yes.
But we're really excited for these projections. And again, I'm putting the emphasis that they're just projections, right? So they
Yeah.
could be higher with the renorming or kids score. They could also be lower as well.
Shush. We're not going
Have
with that.
that
Don't
there.
put that in the.
That's my math side. I'm going to recognize both sides of that.
You ready?
Yep. Okay, I learned science. So in 4th and 5th grade, I learned, everyone takes math in ELA, but 4th graders also take a science. It's like 4th and 6th grade take a science portion, and then 5th and 7th graders, I think, take social studies. So this is a really cool statistic as well. So last year, only 13.3% of kids were proficient in science. This year's projected, or it's more unofficial because they're not renorming this test. This is a little bit more unofficial instead of projection. We're at that 28%, a 14.3 percentage point increase. If you look at our kids who were approaching or higher, last year, 24-25, about 50% of kids were approaching or higher in their proficiency level. This year, we're projected to be around 62%. I do got to emphasize this though. Last year's cohort had 45. This year's only had 29. Remember, mandatory 3rd grade retention lowered our 4th grade
Which
cohort.
means less people can
Yeah.
do poorly.
So for us math people, like one person here has a much greater
Greater
impact on the
impact,
statistics
yeah.
than this 45. But again, positive outlook here. But I did want to emphasize the
Yeah.
cohort size differences to be true to the math. I read. So this is the 3rd grade reading test. So 2nd graders do have the opportunity to take it early, and if they pass it, they never have to take it again. But they also break it down into like, are you at risk? Are you on target? Or did you pass? And so like our on target and at risk kids, that's what drives some of our summer school placements and different things like that. But 3rd grade is the big year that the score. That's what the IDOE blast everywhere, and that's our accountability measure. Last year, our official rate was 56.8%. The state's goal was 70. So we recognize that we were below that, and we.
2 previous years,
yeah.
we were almost at 75%.
Yes.
So last year was an anomaly.
Yep. So we recognize that. So we made some changes to go forward. This year, it's unofficial because we're still at the end of summer school. Our kids are taking iRead as we speak. But currently, we believe we are at 33 out of 51. If you do some quick math in your head, that's around 65%. So we have already on track to beat our record from there. Our goal is still 70. We need 3 more.
We need 3 more to pass tomorrow.
3 more to get to 70. And again, I don't want to make it seem like 70 is our end goal, but that's our first step there. And then from there, we'll continue moving on. Of course, our goal
Yeah, it's
would
not our end goal,
be
just
higher,
that's what the
80s,
state
90s,
likes.
and go on from there. But we're really happy that we're already ahead of the year priors.
And we also
That's
know
right.
that next year with the data from
Yeah.
that 2nd grade class with 46%
Mhm.
of them being sped, that we really have our hands full for next year.
Yeah.
Mm.
Keep going.
Ready?
Okay, so moving on to attendance. So the state's big focus is chronic absenteeism. Chronic absenteeism is defined as missing 10% or more of the school year, which is 18 days or more in our world. This data came from the Ed data on the IDOE's website. Last year's 24-25 elementary only, chronically absent, 12.55% of our kids. This past year, according to that same dashboard, the elementary was at 9.32%. So getting below 10%, that's a win, right? So kids are coming to school more, they're not being absent, different things like that. Some factors that we think are driving this success are parent square attendance notices. That's our automatic, so it removes some of the human error there, like those messages are consistently going through. We also have more robust attendance tracking systems. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Also, a calmer, more supportive learning environment. We had a significant reduction in bullying investigations. We had reduction in referrals. So kids, what that tells us is kids are feeling safe at school. Kids are enjoying school. They're making friends that they want to be at school. When kids want to be at school, when we've removed barriers that cause them to submit bullying investigations or different things like that, we see our numbers decrease. So that was also a very positive sign going in when we're reviewing this past year and going into next year. We look at our behavior data. So remember, this was our first full year with Miss Brown. We had our instructional model, did the recess before lunch, teacher supervising lunch as well. If you look at the 24-25 year, we had around 269 total days of out of school suspension. Going into this past year, we decreased that number, give or take 20% or so, and we only had 219. Still a high number that we want to see decrease, but we know behavior is not going to disappear overnight. We know that there's going to be some choices that kids make that are poor that cause them to spend time outside of school, and we recognize that, but we are very proud of that. Going on from this data, we'll go on to the next one. This slide really emphasizes our culture of calm. All right. So this was an OSS days by term comparison between the 2 years. Look at term 1. So the year we just finished, we had like 150% more out of school suspensions in our first 9 weeks. And I'm not afraid to admit that. Resetting systems, putting new things in place is hard, right? So it's like we overhauled that instructional model. We overhauled recess. Kids still had their habits from May, April, March, and different things like that. It was a very hard reset, and we needed everybody on board. So I'm not afraid of this number. I can talk about it all day, but look what happened afterwards. Well, we had a strong reset. Term 2, we had a quarter fewer OSS days. Term 3, second semester is naturally the more unstructured. That's when all the fun events happen, especially after spring break. Look at term 4. We had 72 days in 24-25. We decreased that to 35 days OSS in term 4. That shows us that we ended the year on a calmer note, and it shows us once we bought into those systems, the systems are producing results. Look at the semesters. Because term 1 was so high, we ended up having around 10% more OSS days in the fall, but the spring, we reaped the rewards, and we got down to 36%. Kids were understanding our expectations. We were beyond consistent. It was the same for some things in kindergarten through 5th grade. Families knew it. They understood what was happening. So we're very excited with this trend. Going into this fall, the system's already there. We're just tweaking it. A lot of kids are going to come back. Of course, we're going to have new kids. We're going to have a whole new kindergarten class. We'll have move-ins and stuff. I don't expect this number to be this high.
What is there a most common reason for suspension?
Yes.
Because
I would
we're
say
going to have a
touching.
stricter environment
Yes.
than other schools.
I would say it all comes down probably physical touch of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are these suspensions, I mean, a suspension is a serious
Yes.
situation.
Yes.
These are not minor infractions
Correct.
like chewing gum or
Correct.
something, yeah.
We do
Yeah.
not suspend them for that.
Biting.
Yeah,
Biting,
biting,
yeah.
spitting,
Hitting each other.
inappropriate touching on private areas.
Lots of butt smacking goes on in kindergarten.
Hmm.
There you go.
Is that teacher smacking butts or?
No, it's the kids smack each other's butts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They see it if they play sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't, they learn, they just,
Yeah.
They all
they're
think they're
new.
football
A
players.
lot of them don't go to preschool either, so they
Oh.
don't know
And
how to
I
control
will
their
say
bodies.
that will be part of the emphasis of Launchpad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we met with Gateway Association today, which is another early learning provider, and about future partnerships and, you know, what do you really want for them to come to kindergarten able to do? Like, not touch each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Yeah, you're fine.
less worried about what academic skills they bring into the K-12 space because that's the K-12 space's job. Our goals are the social interactions and
Sit
body
on the carpet
boundaries
and listen
and
and don't hit
those
each other.
pieces, the
Yeah.
developmentally appropriate parts. And I will say, for anyone that's old school, this data supports the philosophy of don't smile until Christmas as a teacher.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Right there, like,
Mhm.
here's
Yeah,
one
gotta
we so
start
proud of
off
you right now.
soft.
Before we go to the next slide, so we had our total OSS days and we see this positive trend there. We dived deeper into the data because we wanted to see where were these OSS, like what student populations were these impacting the most? And we're going to talk about that here for a few. So a repeat pattern. So 15 cadets at the elementary accounted for 60% of all the OSS days. Okay, so again, not afraid to talk about it. I will embrace that number. What does that tell us? One thing that comes out of this is that's a very small group of kids accounting for such a large number. So we're not seeing disruptions in those OSS behaviors across a multitude of cadets. It's really highly concentrated there. What this tells us though is we got to do something different for those 15 cadets because they're spending a lot of time out of school. These are really high emotional, aggressive type student behaviors and different things like that. And we know that we have a system in place, but that system doesn't work for everybody.
Probably the ones that can least afford to be
Yes.
sent home. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, exactly there. So that's something that I'll talk about. So going into next year to try to pick up the speed, the schedule has allowed for our specials teachers to have a 30-minute mentorship period, and we have plans on assigning these 15 cadets or even cadets throughout the year as they start to accumulate days, a mentor where there are strategic check-ins with a trusted adult that they have specials with, and they can work on goal setting and checking in, working through conflict, because these kids are very passionate when they feel wronged and injustices of the world, and they just need someone to listen to them and help them and steer them in that right direction. So part of our plans to address this is mentorship plans. Looking at our OSS rates, 1 in 3 of our kindergarten cadets received an OSS day. 1 in 3 male cadets, K5, received an OSS. 1 in 3 Black or multiracial cadets, whether you're male, female, regardless of grade level, had an OSS there. Again, this is something that we're going to have to look at. How can we help our kindergarten cadets, right? We believe that the launch pad is going to be a major factor in that, but that's not the end all be all. What can we do as a school, as a kindergarten team and admin team to support our kindergarten cadets? How can we better support our male cadets? What is some rationale behind that? Basically, we collected this data this year. Going into next year is studying some of the root causes. Why are our male cadets receiving more OSS days? Why are our Black and multiracial cadets receiving more OSS days? And when we analyze that data, how can we find resources and different systems and different things that we can help reduce those statistics? If you look at disproportionality, so like our SPED, 29% of our school was SPED, but all of our SPED kids accounted for half of our OSS days,
Yeah.
right? Over 100 of them, right? There was 219 of them. Over 100 of them were SPED. So what are we doing there? Again, I'm not afraid to say like some of our special education are more of those emotional disabilities. These aren't the kids with speech, not downplaying speech, but there are different levels of IEPs and eligibilities and stuff. We have kids with emotional outbursts. We have kids who are on the autism spectrum disorder and different things like that. So not an excuse, but this is what this is telling me as the building leader is I'm going to work with my team. I'm going to work with Captain Brown. There's already a great relationship between Captain Brown, SPED, and myself. But now that we have some data, what can we do to help decrease those numbers?
Do you have any stats on what percent roughly would be some type of autism or similar affliction?
I could find that. I don't have it memorized and it's not in the
Doesn't
presentation,
matter,
but I could get
yeah.
that from Captain
I
Weaver,
was
the
just
breakdown.
curious.
Mhm. Yes.
Seems to be a more prevalent
Yes.
problem than ever.
So again, just keep going. And again, like what we saw here, 1 in 3, we're seeing the disproportionality, right? 43% of our kids were male, but they accounted for 60% of our OSS days. So how are we supporting our male kids? Like some of my theories too, some of our male cadets don't have male role models, right? They don't have fatherly figures at home. They're trying to play both roles. They're taking care of little siblings. How can we help nurture that and embrace that by keeping them in school? Okay. So this is kind of where we are. So what did the data tell us? Growth is widespread. We are making growth, right? But our early literacy is improving, but we know that there is a need at the K2 level. We know that we are seeing cadets spend more time in school, but the next step is how are we helping those targeted populations? And that's what we're going to talk about next. Almost there. Intentionality. This is how we're taking everything and going into next year. So go to next slide. Expanding the instructional model. So we saw the positive impacts of the 3-5 rotating classes. Next year, we're going to move grades 1 and 2 to a similar model. It's not exactly the same. They're at a different developmental stage than our 4th and 5th graders. They will have 3 teachers. They will have different expectations on. They're not going to be expected to carry supplies from room to room like our 4th and 5th grade. That's just a lot to juggle with our small hands and dexterity capabilities and stuff like that. But the data told us we need a stronger foundations in K2. We need earlier intervention to prevent gaps from widening. We need a greater readiness before cadets enter grade 3 when the first big iRead test happens. So next year, we're shifting that model down to grades 1 and 2. There'll be a reading teacher, ELA social studies teacher, math and science teacher. Why are we doing this? Because we saw positive effects from focused instruction. Teachers were happier to be at school because they're able to hone in on something that they enjoy teaching day in and day out. Shared ownership, they can talk more about the same cadets, reduced downtime, right? That's again, how much time is wasted in transitions and just making up time. Like the model forces teachers to stay on a pace and consistent routines. So that's one of our strategies going in. That's the major change going into next year. Next. Intentional curriculum and diagnostics. So what did our data tell us? Growth is happening, but we know that there are still gaps that we have to work on. We know that K2 needs earlier intervention. We know that families want to be involved more, and progress monitoring must be clear. So what are we doing next year? For the last 2 years, our teachers have been talking to us that some of our reading curriculum is really lacking in phonics instruction. Phonics, the basic building blocks of reading, different things like that. So we found a program that is being used nationally across all these different schools. It's called UFly. It's through the University of Florida Literacy Institute. What's the best part about that is it's essentially like almost free. You just have to buy the $60 manual, and then they provide all these free resources and different things like that.
And the neat part about like everything for next year's focus is that we met with the teachers and
Yes.
we brainstormed. We're like, okay, here, what do we need to be better at? And
Yes.
then how do we get better at it? And what are the things that we,
And we're
so this came
yeah.
from teacher
Yeah.
voice. It wasn't
Mhm.
like,
And we practiced it.
decided
So
it
like
for
we
them.
brought these conversations up in October, November with UFly, and then we bought it, and one of our kindergarten classrooms piloted it from January to May, and that kindergarten class outperformed the other 2 kindergarten classes. So we're really happy with that data, making more data-informed decisions to drive our decision making. So we're really looking forward to that. We have a training scheduled July 14th with all of our reading and ELA teachers so they can become familiar with the program. We have different screeners, so some things are required by the IDOE. We don't really have a choice in having to do them. But we have to adopt an Acadians, which is a reading screener for dyslexia. So Mind Play is going away. In iReady, the state is now focused on the science of math. If you've heard the science of reading, the science of math is a thing. So they have a screener there as well. Again, they're going to take it 3 times a year. This is data that our teachers are going to be able to use to drive their instruction. Ms. Hornacher serves as our literacy coach. I've been working with our data coach, Derek Kramer. How can we take these results and do intentional changes in the moment so we can continue seeing kids grow
and Acadians and iReady aren't like curriculum pieces. They're just assessment
screeners.
tools for us. So.
Yeah.
Now the writing, is that cursive writing?
More just like the foundations of writing. So it's like the sentence types, like how do you write an essay, informative, persuasive, and narrative. Did I get them all? Or
I'm pretty close.
somebody.
You must have had a good English teacher.
Informative narrative.
Persuasive, informative, explain. Sorrel, I remember that time method.
Expository.
Expository. There you go. Thank you. So the writing. So next year, we decided to go back down to 4 specials. So this past year, we brought in ink and keys to kind of focus on that writing. But because of the instructional model, grades 1 through 5 have a built-in writing time already in their curriculum. So we wanted to reallocate some resources there. So ink and keys won't be a specials class next year. We'll just have the 4. But writing A to Z will be our K-5 writing curriculum that everybody uses. It builds upon. Again, we're going to see increased teacher collaboration because it's coming from there. Yes, ma'am.
Ryan, how many viewers do we have on YouTube right now?
4.
Oh, okay, so 2 of them have chimed in on my phone. They would like you to know that 18% of the elementary SPED kiddos are identified with emotional disability and or autism.
I wonder
Hello,
who that
Captain.
is.
Hello, Captain
Hello,
Weaver.
Captain Weaver, which I had gone
Yes.
and gotten the information
Yes.
as well, but
Yeah.
so there you go. There,
We are now an interactive
There we go. There we
YouTube.
go. So yeah, so that writing curriculum is it's just again like it's providing a resource for our teachers. They don't have to sit here and create something from scratch. They can use this program. They can add in the parts that they know are more engaging. They can bring in supplemental resources, but we're really looking forward to that. School-wide optional homework. I can't tell you the amount of families that have reached out to Hornacher and I asking for things to do at home. And better yet, non-digital things to do at home. So we are listening to them, and we have come up with a school-wide optional homework, right? Because we don't want to punish kids who don't have the access, parental support at home. But we are going to like ask kids do the Book It program through Pizza Hut, and they get to read and then earn free pizza that I learned that we don't have to pay for because I was not
He
familiar with
didn't
that
know
program.
anything about the Book It program.
Like, and there'll be like a spelling.
At all?
Well, I knew about it. I didn't know of who bought the pizza.
Oh, okay.
That was my question there.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's even better.
The
Pizza.
Anderson Public Library used to have something throughout the
Sure, we'll have to
summer
look
as
into
well.
that.
Yeah, they
Great
came to
partnership.
our community helper day and
Yeah.
they passed out books to our kids and gave them
Yeah.
all their summer program information.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're listening to parent feedback. We're going to have an optional homework system that is more paper, hands-on based.
And
so-
consistent through
Mhm.
first through 5 will have the same
Yeah.
model.
And prep. So it's like instead of grade levels having the same preps, right? Because they're all teaching separate contents, it made more sense for us to group ELA teachers together, to group reading teachers together, to group math teachers together. Is it perfect? No, I can't make a perfect schedule, but there's a lot more of that. Grades 1 through 3, they have shared preps, which is critical for that reading and math foundational years.
And as a model, middle school will also have a similar format.
Cool.
Good
Keep
job.
going. I'm almost there. 58.
Oh, you ready?
Yep. Intentional cadet behavior support. So what did the data support us? Systems matter. We saw like once we held firm to the standard in the first term, it got better throughout the year. Just the anecdotal feedback from teachers and families and cadets, subs constantly said, this building has a whole different feel. Like it doesn't feel urgent or everyone's jumping off the walls. Like there is like, okay,
There was no panic.
nothing there. We know there was some repeat OSS patterns. So going into next year, we're creating a uniform 3-strike system that caused us some headaches this past year, just being transparent. So we listened to those headaches and we made some adjustments with teachers giving feedback and different things like that. And it's a more bought-in system for next year. When kids are on OSS, we're being more intentional about restoring those relationships instead of just, hi, you're welcome back to school, go back to class like nothing ever happened, right? So we have some room to improve on that. So we're doing that. That mentorship program for those 15 cadets with the 60% of days. How are we doing more progressive steps with our in-school suspension program with the kids rotating now? It's no longer like I got to pull you from class all day. Maybe you're just having a rough time in Mr. Stottlemeyer's math class. Great, we can put you in this space and then Miss Hornacher's the next teacher, you can go back to class. Or we can do half days or full days. So it's more progressive, keeping kids in school. And then instructional continuity. Kids are going to be doing more academic work during their out-of-school suspensions, in-school suspensions to keep that learning going. Again, stronger collaboration with SPED. We're also going to improve some of our signage in our unstructured areas or more common areas, bathrooms, cafeteria, different things like that. Attendance support. So attendance is moving in the right direction. We know families, of course, always need clearer and timely communication. We know that missed school becomes missed learning. We saw a lot of growth this year, but I wonder if we kept getting more and more kids at school, just imagine what could happen from there. Next year's focus, I'm dived in with the Qualtrics attendance dashboard. It'll help us track and find patterns a lot sooner. We are updating some of our school and district-wide policies when it comes to like excused absences and things like that. We are putting more ownership visible. So we're going to have attendance displays outside every classroom where cadets are tracking their own attendance. And it's like a goal. If we have 95% attendance, we can get this and try to make it a more collective unifying effort.
We're doing like living lockers
Yeah.
and
That's the next slide.
oh, sorry.
Yep.
It ties into that.
So yeah, that's coming up next. So again, just trying to make it more school-wide. We hung a bulletin board up in the main office area, and that's going to be an attendance board for all the families who sign their kids in late can see. And
It's
go
also
from there.
giving all of the students a voice for themselves
Yes,
too.
yes, exactly.
Teaching them to.
Yes. hi, I really want to go to school today because we
Right.
have this competition and transferring that ownership there. Almost there. Keep going. Leadership. So, you know, 62 is the end. Or I think 63. 63. I think.
Oh.
So leader in me. So
I was
again,
going off the PDF.
yeah.
I was like, we
Oh,
have
no.
like 20 more.
oh no,
slides.
no, we're almost there. So leader in me, again, we did a lot of work over the last 2 years on adults. Like I came into this role, it's like we got to make sure our adults are in the right place before we can really serve our kids. I'm confident now that we are in a great place where we can now start diving in and transferring more of this leadership to cadets. We're going to see daily leader in me lessons. We're going to see leadership binders. We're going to see living lockers. We're going to see intentional school and classroom jobs and different things like that. Just trying to keep it going. Next. So this is the end. So this was our Community Helper Day picture. So again, this presentation, I know it was long, but it was in 4 parts. It kind of told us the celebrations that we did throughout the year, how some of our systems changed and create a culture of calm. We looked at the actual data, and that data is supporting that we are on the right path, moving in the right direction. And these are some of the things that we are changing going into next year. And I think I'll be back in October. So any questions, comments, concerns?
Good presentation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Extremely thorough.
Thank you.
I can click a mouse to the best of them.
Yes.
It just shows that how you are giving the students more of the ownership as well as the support for the teachers.
Yeah.
There's so many schools that the teachers feel like they're out there on their own.
Yes.
But by having the rotations and having that collaboration between them, that's gonna
We're-
help maintain.
We're
the
really
teachers.
excited about our leadership binders with them
Yeah.
taking ownership of some of their academics. And then we're gonna have school-wide positions, so we're gonna have, they're all different cutesy little things. We're gonna have first-class ambassadors, so they'll help with like tours
Mhm.
and different events and things
Yeah.
like that, so.
We don't have turnover. I only had to, Miss Coons did end up getting a job in Indianapolis Public Schools because she was moving to Indy. Outside of that, like we don't have turnover. And so that right there creates stability for our school.
Exactly.
We don't have to start from scratch. How can we keep improving on what we're doing? So we're really looking forward to that.
Well, and Ms. Kuntz's replacement is actually a returning
Mhm.
staff member, so, I think. you know, a lot
Yeah,
of
it will
good
not be,
things
it will not be a hard, I don't have
Transition.
to have like a onboarding with them.
Yeah.
We're
We already
really
have a
excited.
bunch of.
She
trust
texted me
secretaries.
today to show me some of the stuff
Good.
she was working on for UFly.
Well, thank you.
Very well done.
Yes, thank you.
Keep sending me pictures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys,
Thank you for your
and-
time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks for the work.
Yes.
Yes.
It's getting the results.
Yes. Hope exec goes fast.
Go see in
Have a safe
October
evening.
then.
Thank you.
These are for next week because I will be here.
Thanks.
It looks like someone's. Is this her charger or not? She may need that.
Yep.
Okay. You may need that.
Yes, this is more awkward.
There you go.
All we do is steal. I'm
Still
special
from
because
each other.
You don't-
mine's a special one.
Yeah, good. All right. Thank you so much for that presentation again, Mr. Solomon, Captain Solomon, Captain Hornbeck. Any other further discussion this evening? All right. If not, can I get a motion to adjourn our board meeting this evening?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. We'll call the meeting to end. It looks like we have executive session here in a few minutes we'll go through. We'll call the meeting to end at 8:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for everyone for attending this evening. Our next board meeting is scheduled for